Okay, after numerous sound tests, we're good to go. I'm back. It's Eddie, the Dread Pirate, Starkiller. We're back for another episode of Pirate Radio. Rock and roll.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going?
We're testing our audio out, and we're talking about wonderful things today. We're talking about DC Comics. We're talking about the Snyder Cut, because you and I were so excited about it. The moment I heard, oh man, Snyder has an just a completely, like, all of his vision, none of the Joss Whedon stuff, and it's longer, it's even longer. Oh yeah, because I love Justice League so much. I think it's so good, such a good movie. It's not like Man of Steel gave me an existential crisis or anything like that. It made me want to jump off a building. It's not like a drunk called you and everyone else I know out of the theater talking about how DC Comics is dead. No. More Zack Snyder will fix that. So we're talking about that. You want to talk more DC Comics things.
Something like that.
You saw a movie you were going to tell me about.
Yeah, I don't know. It just fits in because it's definitely not comic related, but I did see a movie.
Yeah, and then afterwards you need to go to bed, so I was going to tell you more about Yellowstone. I was going to tell you more about Kevin Costner's
yes, I do have insomnia.
Yeah, I don't know much to say about Yellowstone. But once again, I'm just going to let Josh go here. So let's... Because, alright, if I wasn't clear with my sarcasm there, I fucking hate the DCEU, and oh my god, release the Snyder Cut! Release the Snyder Cut! They screwed over Zack Snyder. It's so much better. And of course, this is all his brother that I'm doing right now. That's how he sounds. It's really good, Eddie. You don't understand. It's such a good... You guys are crazy. And it's just like... And other various expletives. I don't give a shit. I don't think it's going to fix anything. From what I saw, it didn't fix anything. But I'm not going to do that to myself. Josh is. So, Josh... swing away and talk about how the Snyder Cut.
So, yes, I had the pleasure of watching that movie, the event that is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Just a quick heads up. Talking about the theatrical one, I wasn't really a fan. It was boring.
I loved it, obviously.
It was a boring mess of a movie. But I knew that going in. Unlike most people who just don't care about these things when because I look online for this nonsense. I knew about the drama. I knew what happened to Zack and why he had to leave the project. I know about Whedon and his frustrations trying to please everyone in the studio. More importantly, the studio. And that's what the problem with that movie was. It was 100% studio meddling. It was Warner Brothers, once again, not knowing what to do with characters that they bought back in, 1978.
And don't care about.
No, they love what they can do for them. They love, like, oh, wow, this Batman movie has made us, billions of dollars. Keep making more of them, please. But they don't understand why.
Seeing green.
And they have, in my opinion, Time Warner has always been very, very lucky. Whenever a DC-based property succeeds, they were lucky that they let who they let direct, produce, write, and cast, and so forth. Case in point, Richard Donner's Superman. They didn't give two hoots.
This is like going into like before you and I were born type of stuff. Like things we like as a kid we didn't really think about. You're a kid, you watch the original Superman, you're just like you just kind of absorb it and then enjoy it, and it's fun. It's just like it's just seeing a man fly, this cartoon character that you love, just being awesome. It's like you don't really think about all that goes into it, but there's this drama goes all the way back. The Michael Keaton cut, the Michael Keaton version of Batman. It's like they've been extraordinarily. Like, did I just call it something stupid?
You called the Michael Keaton cut, made me laugh.
I'm gonna go off camera right now because I feel embarrassed. Keep talking, Josh.
Okay, so while he's gone, I have the mic again. So I'm saying that they were every big movie they ever made was a success because they weren't 100%. They just were lucky at who they had. Like I said, Richard Donner and Christopher Reeve's Superman, the number one. The 1989 Batman movie by Tim Burton, again Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. That was luck. But they themselves don't understand it. Either they'll put too much meddling into it, or like the Batman movies before Christopher Nolan, they saw success, then they stepped back way too much, let that person go completely, bonkers, and then go, oh God, what did we do?
You leave those Penguin Commandos alone. You leave
It's
those
not just
Penguin
that,
Commandos
same thing,
alone. They are precious.
No. They did it twice because Batman Returns was full Tim Burton, but Batman and Robin was full Joel Schumacher. See, when it was Batman Forever, they actually were like, "Oh, you got to do this," and there was a lot of tight, things. And he's like, "Okay, fine." Batman Forever was a huge success, and they're like, "Here, blank check, go nuts!" And he's like, "Oh, really? Oh, honey." and the Schumacher was released.
I miss Joel. I miss Joel. Lost Boys. I miss the saxophone guy from Lost Boys. Just hunky saxophone dude. It's like, yeah, it's so 80s.
I feel like the relatives of the the hunky saxophone guy were in Batman and Robin though, as like the drummers and that Poison Ivy can go boom boom. It was a gala, and they're hitting the drums and like, why are these ripped, glistening, glitter-adorned men just banging on this drum?
No, they were Batman Forever. They were the face paint gang. Face paint gang that Robin fought.
That's, were they?
Yeah. Those are his cousins. They got a little. They got a little scene. It was. They're all musical. They're all musical theater people. So.
Anyway, going back to the Snyder Cut. Point is, the man did film a lot that was left on the cutting room floor. The original plan was that he had permission to make a Justice League Part 1 and 2. And that's why this Snyder Cut is so big, because it was originally going to be technically 2 movies. Mm-hmm. One with, like a to-be continued, if you will, going into 2, and then 3. Now, I want you to remember that, because later when I wanted to talk about not just the Snyder Cut, but I honestly, something that's been bothering me for the longest time, and I'm sure people have done this already, but I do not care. I really want to get this off my chest. I have a rough draft idea of what Phase 1 for the DCEU should have been. And the fact that there was already planned 2 Justice League movies without every other thing, that's a huge reason why it failed.
I mean,
but anyway,
we could go back even further, back to like, oh man, we need to compete with Marvel. Let's release Green Lantern. I almost feel like that's a topic for another day, because I know you can talk at length about that. So
yeah, I was going to bring it up a little bit. I don't want to do a synopsis of the movie. I just wanted to bring up the fact that it existed.
But before we go any further, I need to point out that it's not up on the channel yet, but our Christmas game we did this year, I did blow up Davis's character with a Penguin Commando. That's how his character ended. A little penguin waddled in front of him with a rocket launcher in his back and just bent over. 100 damage, you're dead. And Davis is like, I hate you.
All right, that happened.
Moving on.
So, should I say spoiler warning for this thing?
Spoiler warning! Time code! Now! Right. Spoilers for the Snyder Cut if you give a shit like I don't.
I don't really know what is a spoiler exactly in this.
You know what? Before we go any further, let me promote something real quick. So I released, I will also put in the link in the description, I wrote a short story called Dead Man's Chest. Check it out on Wattpad. It's like 2 pages. Wouldn't take long for anybody to read it.
It wouldn't.
Just saying. Oh, I don't read. Okay. Check it out. It's pirate themed, because pirate and
pirates.
Whatever. Talk, Josh. Yeah. Talk. Make words with your mouth.
I mean, basically, the plot is the same in this movie. It is still Steppenwolf trying to find 3 mother boxes that have been left here.
He wants to open the box.
Yes, to hold the box.
And unshow you the pleasures of pain.
That's a good movie. It's still that plot. It's still grabbing these 3 boxes. It's still unifying them into the unity, and basically when that happens, the mother boxes apparently turn any planet they're on into Apocalypse, with the geothermal pits and all that kind of stuff and everything. And of course the League is trying to stop them. And
I don't want to go too much on a tangent, but I know you're a big fan of Justice League Heroes, because I think you talked me into buying it. Remember, like right around the time Ultimate Alliance dropped, the first Marvel Ultimate Alliance
Oh
dropped.
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
It was alright.
Justice League Heroes, which is basically the DC Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and like the plot of that game was like using the Mother Box to turn the Earth into Apocalypse. Is that a thing in the comics? Because that was in the game, and then the Mother Box is just a portal.
It's so funny because I remember the game, but very vaguely. I did like it. It was a nice attempt to do a Marvel Ultimate Alliance thing, but it wasn't as good. But I like things about it. I didn't remember that actually about the Mother Box. The thing is, Mother Boxes don't do that.
Yeah. It's like in every different media, the Mother Box becomes this weird MacGuffin that does all... The Mother Box is just a really advanced computer that teleports you places.
It can, but the thing is, because the Mother Box is like one of many.
Yeah.
There's several Mother Boxes. and they can do pretty incredible things. But terraforming a planet to Apocalypse is not one of them. That was never a thing. I mean, there is other ways to do that. I mean, it's funny because Superman the Animated Series, when Darkseid finally appeared in the show, like not a cameo, but actually full appearance. Yeah, the plot was actually to somehow there was like this attack, like device that the SAD made that would actually make the nuclear power plants blow. They would blow up, but then they would send these geothermal fires downward instead of up.
Yeah,
and it would build up in the Earth's core and it would erupt and create fire pits. So that it basically becomes another apocalypse.
This also feels like another example of like where DC, like Warner Brothers does this thing with DC where they'll have a storyline in another piece of media that's really, really good, and then they make it into a movie and basically rip themselves off, but do it bad. Like the Wonder Woman movie feels very much like the Wonder Woman animated movie that they had come out. I feel like that's better. A lot of people like the Wonder Woman animated movie, including you, so I don't want to start that fight. But then, like, okay, before Suicide Squad, we had Batman Assault on Arkham, and Batman Assault on Arkham was really, really good. And then we don't talk about Suicide Squad. And now I just thought of this now. It's just like, yeah, didn't Justice League Heroes did like Apocalypse? I've got a Mother Box, and now I'm going to turn the Earth into Apocalypse. It's like, can you do that? And it's like, I'm Darkseid. I can do whatever I want. And it's like, okay. And it's like, same shit. Yeah, same plot.
I think the plot of that game was part of its problem too.
Oh.
But that's the thing. It's like that's not a thing as far as I know in the comics. I don't know if they did change that in the New 52.
Yeah.
To be fair, I bring this up. I don't know if anyone does anyone remember the New 52? Its purpose.
Unfortunately, no, I don't remember it at all, Josh. I don't remember it all. I think you and I do. You and I do. And anybody who is unfortunate to run into me when I'm thinking about it knows about it. But like, other than that, no. Let me tell you what they did at DC. It was shit, and it was just they run away from me.
Yeah, the DC universe had a yet another reboot in 2011. Yeah. They called it the New 52, and they canceled all the titles and restarted them with a brand new number 1. Which was a big deal because this included titles like Action Comics and Detective Comics, which had never gone into a second volume ever.
Yeah.
Even when they had their other reboots. So that was a thing. Justice League, the New 52's Justice League, like the very first storyline, is kind of what this movie takes from, though. It takes from the fact that there's a bunch of parademons, like, scattering around doing stuff. To certain areas of Gotham City and stuff, and the idea is that they're going to plant the devices to transform, Earth. That it's the beginning of an invasion. This is how Darkseid conquers his planets, and it does build into Darkseid actually arriving, and they fight him as opposed to Steppenwolf.
Yeah. This
story also has one important character in it who unites the team into the Justice League, which is Cyborg, who in the New 52 version is not just a man connected with cybernetic parts, but he's fused with a Mother Box.
Yeah.
That's what the Justice League movies, both the Justice League and the Snyderverse, the Snyder Cut, are both trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to put that part in there. People younger than me liked it. I mean, because the Justice League, that first story arc was a huge hit, unfortunately. I didn't like it, as you could tell. I've read worse. I will say this is not horrible. It's just not what I want from a Justice League. I didn't like how the characters were being reimagined, and I also didn't like the idea of Darkseid being the first person to ever fight. That is a huge thing I want to talk about because it's a problem with me. The fact that they're even bringing in Darkseid at all. I mean, he's in the movie, but he's in the movie as flashback, and he communicates with Steppenwolf in this movie. And there's even at the very end after they beat Steppenwolf, like I said, it's better. But it's in the other movie. There's a portal thing where they actually see Darkseid. Darkseid looks at them, and they look back at Darkseid, and what have you. And it's like, imagine they did that in Avengers. Imagine how many people would be like, what?
Well, like,
who's the purple guy?
You remember the Avengers? It's like, the Avengers. We started with Loki, but like at the very end, you have Thanos as a little hint. It's just like humans are unruly to challenge them as to court death, and he just kind of turns and smiles. It's like, hey. And then it's like, and then many years later, Infinity War and Endgame, we built up to Thanos. It's like what they should
and they sprinkled him just a little bit. He was in Guardians. He's at the end of Age of Ultron. But for the most part, most people are like, "Who the hell is this purple dude?"
All the way up to Infinity War.
Don't care.
No one really knew until Infinity War dropped because we never really. Yeah. He was just like, "Who's this big purple guy, and why should we care?" Well, we'll show you why you should care. And then everybody walked real quiet out of Infinity War in the theater.
Yeah, no, people.
Myself included. I'm like, I thought I knew what was going to happen, and I was wrong.
Yeah, that was good stuff. It was. I mean, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
In that theater that I was in, it was dead silence. At the end of that movie.
Josh, we're not here to talk about good movies. We're here to talk about the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Like I was saying before, the Snyder Cut is basically the same thing because the basic idea in the movie is kind of the same. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of changes. Mm-hmm. A lot of them is visual, of course. Mm-hmm. We went back to his original coloring, which was shown in the very first trailer. Was all Snyder. So there's a lot of like these dark blues and stuff.
The dark Justice League.
Whereas Whedon's version
of
dark
DC. It's all like 300.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is because they want to lighten it up. That's the thing. That was part of the meddling. Mm-hmm. They were like, "Oh no, we need to brighten this up." Yeah, but they put an orange filter over it. That didn't brighten anything. It just looked ugly as shit.
Yeah.
What's it called? Also, the CGI is better. Cyborg looks better. Steppenwolf looks cooler. I still don't like the fact that it's too much goddamn silver or gray or whatever. It doesn't pop enough. It's not distinctive. I do like the fact that because of his size in this, he matches because there's Steppenwolf's in Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice. I don't know if you remember, but there's a scene where this big monster-looking thing is talking to Luthor. That's where he got the whole mother box. So that's where he's getting his information from. Dealing with them.
That's one of my problems too, is because Steppenwolf is not supposed to be that in the comics. Steppenwolf is more like a piratey sort of. I mean, he's a new god, so he's like a bigger person than In the comics, the thing is Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle. Right.
All right, but he's loyal to him.
Right.
Once Darkseid had taken the throne, he was loyal to him, and he's more of a. Because he's dressed like he's the sheriff of Nottingham. Honestly, he's meant to be based off a more Middle Ages, almost near Renaissance, but not quite. Kind of like ranger, archer, or something.
Right.
He's that kind
which
of
would
guy.
add that kind of classic fantasy Jack Kirby look to it, which I think would be interesting.
Yeah, when you see Steppenwolf in his original outfit, it looks like an Errol Flynn Robin Hood character meets space.
But to paraphrase your brother, who I will have on the show at one point, that would be stupid. That would be stupid. He has to look like a cave troll, Eddie. Yeah, he has to look like a cave troll from Lord of the Rings.
No, because I heard this argument already.
Yeah.
And I don't propose that outfit because that outfit is silly looking.
Yeah.
Sorry. In fact, most of the characters from Jack Kirby's Fourth World, by today's standards, are very silly looking.
Yeah.
However, again, the New 52 reimagined Steppenwolf. Mm-hmm. Now, in the comic Earth 2, this is part of what... This was actually in connection to... what's his name? What Grant Morrison was trying to do with the multiverse?
Yeah.
Because, according to Morrison, there are not multiple dark sides or multiple apocalypses. There's no multiple in Genesis. They're just one. They have their own. They stand outside of the multiverse actually in the map, and they can go and they transverse easily between every single Earth.
Okay.
So when Darkseid goes to conquer something, he's not just conquering planets of one universe. He's conquering planets of the multiverse.
But that makes no sense with previous storylines where like Superman actually was raised on Apokolips and like that don't make sense.
Those are but those are not those are other Elseworlds and stuff. But a lot of those got destroyed with the old. That got destroyed with the old multiverse, and a new one was created.
That's why people like Dan DiDio are allowed to fuck comics up, sir. It's too complicated.
The point
that
is
doesn't count.
Every story.
That's an alternate universe. We're talking about the multiverse.
Yeah, hold on. Yes, but a multiverse that also died.
Fuck you. Go ahead. Keep talking.
All right. You know what? It's your fault. You brought me on this show. It's not my fault. I know this crap.
I'm just gonna shut up and drink. No one understands me, Giant Soda.
So what happens is, and here's the funny thing too, because that means every alternate universe that wasn't put back into the multiverse, any alternate Darkseid, all the alternate Darkseids, all that crap, that stuff is completely destroyed, including ones that Morrison himself made. And remember, Morrison's the guy who remade the.
So this is just building up to a giant Doctor Who crossover.
And I think this had to do with the fact that Jack Kirby's original idea for the 4-4 was that they were meant to be outside of that they could try and that they have made multiple appearances throughout the multiverse itself. So he's trying to make it okay. Let's honor Jack and do a singular thing again. And by doing so, you realize the Darkseid. This is not the first Earth he invaded. Like he invaded Earth Zero or New Earth, and the Justice League beat him. But he actually sent Steppenwolf to invade Earth 2, and he almost won. If it wasn't for Batman self-sacrificing and destroying these towers that are doing the same process. But the Steppenwolf in that comic, he's not a monster, but he's also not dressed like that cheesy Robin Hood looking outfit. Instead, it's more of this like epic, almost Soul Calibur-esque armor with spikes and these horns and. Even that helmet design that they used in the movie is kind of
so that got morphed into demon horns that are actually
and he's much larger. But that's the thing too. They wanted to do like with the reboot.
He got morphed into a Dragon Age Origins character.
The world are huge.
Yeah,
like Darkseid is. I mean, they're really ginormous. And the true. I mean, Jack always said that they were supposed to be big, and the mother box actually allows them to be small. Yeah, you know that. So again, they're playing with that. All right. Mm-hmm. So Steppenwolf is a like 8 foot tall dude at least at this point, and he's got this bitch in black, silver, red armor. And the point is, it stands out. It will. There are certain details can attract the eye, so you can still have what Zach had, that large thing, but he could add red and black to it, and so that it doesn't look like a Mark II Iron Man armor.
It looks like what the end results. To speak of Joss Whedon, it looks kind of like the Beast from season 3 and 4 of Buffy. Of Angel, the beast that brought the apocalypse, that brought about Jasmine's coming, kind of like that. So, which according to BuzzFeed is a terrible character, even though I really thought he was awesome.
Anyway,
he was awesome. He was badass.
I liked it too. I just want to get back to the point.
Yeah, true. He did kind of go down like a bitch when Angel just stabbed him with his own knife.
So there's the major changes with this. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Again, I put the coloring and the special effects, but I also, my God, the slow-mo. I mean, if slow-mo gets you hard, but I mean, diamond in a snowstorm hard, then this is your movie. This is your shut the lights off, put on some Barry White, and just go to town.
There's a reason I keep fidgeting, Josh, is because I can't control my steel rock erection right now.
Oh my God!
It's so hard.
It's just,
it's just,
yes. Do it.
Yes.
But do it slower.
Slower. Every Spartan is willing to die for Sparta.
Oh, and the number of characters who are male that are allergic to shirts. It's raining men. hallelujah, it's raining. I mean,
it's as Snyder said way back on the 300 DVD. Is like it's a free society. People working together, looking great, feeling great. You know, just well oiled, chiseled.
Okay.
Making a wall of dead Persian soldiers. It's what you do.
It's just something it's just something he loves. He just loves it so much because it's not just the fact that Aquaman most of the time is like screw this shirt.
Are you suggesting a possible David Dakota-esque like gay fascination with hunky dudes with no shirts? Is this like there's under? Is this like David Dakota's appearance in Ginger Dead Man 2, where it's like, how about this hunky angel dude in underwear for the spacewalk scene? Love it. Which brings us back.
No, to me it's pretty much the same. To me, it's the same gay undertones that persist in Michael Bay films.
Yeah.
But yet both of them insist that they're like doing macho films.
Yeah.
Look at hot women, and it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of men, like oily, muscular men without shirts.
It brings us right back to Joel Schumacher and the saxophone.
Yes, it's back to him. Yeah, no. If that soul was alive, or at least he was in that shape
sexy
again,
gay 80s,
he'd
man.
be in this movie.
Just
No, but there's more. I mean, if that's what you want to call Snyder style 80s. So there's also in the flashback scene we see Darkseid instead of Steppenwolf fighting. It's Darkseid who was invading young Darkseid.
Your brother texted me very excited. It was very embarrassing.
Oh, you remember that? Did you remember?
I got a text from him. It's like, look how cool Darkseid looks. It's like, oh god. That's great, John. I don't care.
No, once again, did you notice that he had no shirt in his flashback? Young Darkseid just.
That's right. He didn't have a shirt on. You know, I wouldn't notice because he's made of fucking rocks. But yeah, you're right. He didn't have a shirt on.
No, he's topless as well. He's got some sort of, I don't know if it's a tattoo or a burn, but it's the Omega symbol on his chest. And then I bring this up because he does wear clothes later. Like he does have a shirt.
Unfortunately,
in the present day. Huh?
Unfortunately.
But no, because it's like a trend. It's a thing. You see him shirtless. Like I said, Aquaman, Batman at some point. But I mean, we knew Aquaman. But then who else? In the flashback, he's fighting the Amazons. He's fighting the Atlanteans. He's fighting the Greek freaking gods. And of course, most of them.
The Spartans.
It's 300. It's 300 all over again. I remember I see Zeus there with just like this little bit of a toga going in slow mo.
Yeah.
There's a moment where. So
where does the Snyder Cut of Justice League take place in the continuity of 300? Because does it take place after the Battle with Thermopylae in 300 Rise of that sequel one they did that I talk about all the time that's really bad? Rise of Empire. The one that
sequel doesn't count because it's not Snyder.
That movie is so bad, Josh. Its only value is
wearing
that
too much clothes in that movie.
The only value of that movie is Ava Green has sex in it, and the scene with her getting banged is basically porn. It's basically, you're just not showing me the connection, but everything else is there. It's just like, you know.
All right. Anyway, aside from shirtless people, Steppenwolf even loses his shirt at one point.
Sexy cave troll action.
Aside from that,
yeah.
There's this thing. I don't know why, but it is funny as hell to me that Wonder Woman's soundtrack follows her like a ghost.
Oh, she's the Iron Man of the DCEU, basically. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different. In the scene where we're introduced to her and she fights these terrorists that are bank robbers or whatever, it's the same. There is still the music that, the same thing you get from the Wonder Woman film, her theme song. But wherever Wonder Woman is, the minute the camera turns and she just looks, you hear some Greek, something straight out of 300. Some woman just saying a bunch of vowels in Greek.
It
plays throughout the whole movie. It's like every time she's about to say something,
she's got the nymphs from the Hercules Disney movie following her around. That's what they did after Hercules.
The music, yeah.
They're just kind of following her around, like singing, "Hey."
I mean, I don't care because it does sound good, but it is funny. The fact that it is the commitment that it is there every single time.
Okay, so
like a moment.
So if we're playing my game, we're playing D&D, and you're like, Eddie, I want to play Wonder Woman, and I'm like, okay, who's gonna play your soundtrack? We'll make Alex do it. That could be like your animal companion. It's your soundtrack, or your familiar.
No, you know, no, it's like that. It's that level. It almost feels like it's another character. Speaking of character, the one who gets the most is Cyborg. I will give him this
because he got like none in the original, basically.
No, they really. Oh no, it's terrible because Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman really don't get enough for us to care about them. Yeah. Cyborg has an entire arc that really matters, and it's really good. You can tell that was a point. Again, I go back to that storyline in New 52, in Justice League issues 1 through 6. It's again Cyborg. You get to see in that whole story. You see him.
It's almost like we have to justify a character who's religiously supposed to be in the Titans being inside a Justice League book because I didn't start him off there this time.
Like I said, I didn't agree with it then. I don't agree with it now. But I don't agree with Cyborg being on the Justice League at all from the beginning because this Cyborg is close, not exactly the same, but close to the comic one in that he's a young man and he had this big career in sports. I think, I can't remember, it almost seemed like it was college. I thought it was supposed to be high school football in the movie. I know in the comics it is, but the actor looks like a college student to me. So
should we go into that at all? Should we go into the controversy? The recent one involving Joss?
I will say this about the controversy. I think a good chunk of the controversy and where Ray Fisher, the actor who plays Cyborg, had problems with Whedon is because he had to cut so much aside. You gotta imagine, you've been in a movie and you're relatively unknown in Hollywood still. Like, you're not a household name yet.
Right.
People know Ben Affleck. By this point, they know Gal Gadot and so forth. But this is your chance, bro. And you read that script, and you said yes, and you're doing all these shots, and then a lot of footage is made for you. Then they come to find out they have to reshoot it. But just about almost like 80 to 90% of you is gone now.
Yeah.
And what is replaced is not good.
Yeah.
And so I understand where he was very frustrated, and I know that he was trying to talk to it. He was trying to find a compromise. He was basically kind of begging, can you have me do more? Can we rewrite? And Whedon's approach was, he yelled because, again, this dude was under pressure from the studio to do all this crap because the studio didn't care about Cyborg. Because, the studio understands the comics.
Right.
So, that's
and as the Buffy cast, starting with Charisma, has kind of revealed since then, is like, maybe Joss had a problem with that, of just snapping every now and then. And I remember telling you about the interview I saw with James Marsters with Marco Rosenbaum, where he talks about how, like, Whedon, like, pushed him up against a wall one time. And it was just like he was going to ask him about something, but he was getting pressure to keep Spike around when his original intention with Spike was just to be a villain to be killed off. And, no, we love James Marsters, he's really good, we love the character, bring the character back. And the way James Marsters described it is like he went up to him, hey, I wanted to ask you about the script and things like that. And like, I can just picture Joss Whedon, like, coming out of a meeting, just kind of tiny and angry, just like, I was just wondering, we're talking about the character, and something I want to do is just, boom! And just like, I will kill your fucking character off, I will end you, I don't care how popular you are, I will fuck you up, and then walks away. And James is like, what did I do? And apparently they're cool now, but it was like, and James never intimated that he felt like harassed or anything like that, but it was just like, I'm just noticing a pattern of behavior there.
No, but the point is, it was always there. That's what's happening now with Buffy Angel alumni coming out and speaking, is the fact that he could have handled his temper a lot better on set, period. Yeah. And I'm not trying to make excuses. Like, I understand where he's coming from, but that doesn't mean it's cool. I mean, I've blown up at people. It wasn't cool then. It's not cool now. It's just, hopefully we can learn better from it. But the problem is the Ray Fisher one is just too soon.
Yeah.
It's like with the other ones, it's like, okay, this is bad habits of the past that needed to die. But the Whedon of, what now, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no. Why are you still blow? It's not Ray's fault.
Right.
Don't bother Ray with the fact that the studio's forcing you to do this.
Yeah.
And you're going through your own personal drama too, and that you can't do your own film. Here's the thing. My personal opinion, he should never have said yes anyway.
Yeah.
That's just it. The moment they took away his Batgirl movie, he should have just been like, nah. Unless, I guess, it was a contract thing.
Did we hurt him that bad with Age of Ultron, Josh? I don't remember. I know you.
Okay.
I know. Okay. First of all, I know you and me when it comes to Marvel. All like, oh, Josh, you're so good. I love your Avengers. Oh, it's so good. I know you and I are that bad, so maybe I can't represent. Like, I was just about to compare.
We're shills.
Yeah, but even then, I didn't even hear that many fucking Skybeam bitching about Age of Ultron. It was like, Ultron wasn't that good. Like, one or a couple people bitched. I think Mike and Jay said something just like it was okay, and that apparently you have to leave Hollywood for a while, Joss, because Age of Ultron wasn't perfect.
That's not what happened. What happened was because it wasn't even the fans. He was done when he was doing the press junkets for the premiere of that movie.
Yeah,
you saw an exhausted, broken man. Basically, there was a lot of movie. It's a big budget thing. It's a lot of pieces to move and all this other stuff. And there's certain things he wanted to keep in there, and there were certain things that he was putting in because they told him to, and they were fighting on him on certain things. Like people have made fun of Thor in the magical hot tub. You know, where he gets the visions. You remember he goes into the
yeah, that's right. I remember the magic hot tub.
That's what they call it.
It took me a minute. It's like, oh, yeah, the magic hot tub. It's
magic hot tub. And he's like, oh, the lightning. And then he sees
the weird orgy going on there. Asgard has fallen. Asgard has fallen, Thor. It's like, all right. You need to go back to the office, bro.
That was the studio, not really Whedon. Like, he tried to work with it. I think there was even a longer scene with another character to explain this better.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, cut that.
Yeah.
And he's like, but then your scene that you want so badly doesn't make as much sense. And they're like, nah, it's fine. And he's like, fine. But the thing is...
Seamless into Thor the Dark World. Wait, what was that?
Into
Thor Ragnarok.
It's funny because it didn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I get... It's like the vision... It's, again, I don't hate this movie. And I'm not really angry at that scene either. But when I do rewatch it, I think about the fact that its sole purpose... Well, no, it has two purposes. One, talk about... It has Thor Ragnarok, which they don't connect, honestly.
Yeah.
How
does that go to? What's up, Surtur? I'm hanging in a chain.
Yeah. Yeah. When you think about how dark and how ominous that vision is.
Yeah.
And then you think of what Taika Waititi did going... End of the world? Whoops! It must be a Monday. It's like,
why? Every time I see him, I just imagine him in his doing the Shadows outfit. Oh, you kind of just blew up your planet, and it's a bummer. I don't think it me, but what can you do? Just roll with it, man. It's cool.
Hi, my name's Cog. This is my best buddy mate, Meek. Yeah, we're just going to sit here on the Xbox and play a little Fortnite. All right?
Fortnite.
Right.
with the kids. The kids like the Fortnite nowadays. No one likes Minecraft anymore.
I just learned how to dab. But no, seriously, but that and the fact that it shows him the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, and
it's like that could have been done. We could have done it off screen, actually. That's fine.
Yeah. He
could have said he did something and then...
But that has a lot to do with the Snyder Cut. We need to get back on topic, because
No, but it does... It just reminds me of the fact that, meddling and stuff. But anyway...
Well, back to Ray Fisher. I was thinking about this. It's like another Joss Whedon product. Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time we really got to... We'd seen Hawkeye before. We'd seen Black Widow before. But I feel like we really got to know them and flesh them out in Avengers. We'd seen Coulson before, but we really got to love Coulson in that one. It was like we'd known Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America prior to this, but it was like this was the movie where like a lot of just the secondary cast got to blossom and we got to feel for them and where they're coming from. And it was like, and that's the perfect movie to do this. It's like, especially Justice League. For my money, Justice League should be Martian Manhunter in that role, which we also need to talk about. Because apparently he decided to appear to Lois as Martha. We are already in spoilers, fuck it.
No, I was going to say it, that's all.
Yes. Like, I was watching...
Wait. He appears to Lois Lane as who?
He goes to... There's a scene... Okay, so,
No. Say the name.
Well, let's rip off a better discussion of this than you and I. Let's talk about the Red Letter Media one. They did a side-by-side comparison of Justice League and the Snyder Cut, and they show the wild tonal shift you had between Joss Whedon and just Snyder's direct cut. And Joss Whedon had this kind of goofy, quirky, like, office scene where Lois is talking with Martha Kent, and, like, her sexist buddy in the office is like, hey, where's your source? It's like, can I talk to him? Oh, it's a her. Oh, it's a girl. Yeah, because apparently Joss Whedon forgot how to write feminism since he hasn't done Buffy in a long time. Okay. And then you go to the Snyder Cut, and it's a similar conversation, but it's over at, like, Lois's apartment, and it's all dark and dreary, and they're talking about losing Superman, and it works better. It works better with this version because it's one vision. It's not Joss Whedon being crammed in there to fix it. But then Martha walks downstairs and leaves, and...
Why did you say that name?
By the way... What is it? What is it with Snyder and DC Comics characters being obsessed with mothers? Batman, all named Martha. Superman, Batman, and Steppenwolf. He says mother like Martha.
Oh no, he's got issues. He's got issues he's working out in these movies. That's what it is. But yeah, so basically, go on, talk about not Martha.
But yeah, it was Martian Manhunter, and Martian Manhunter was talking to Lois because.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why?
And then he shows up at the end and he's like, hey, I'm a Martian.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, Josh. I don't know.
Well, okay, for the
might.
lowest part, who knows? That was a problem. That was a head scratcher and a half, too. It was like, really?
Well, like,
you're just gonna, like, just...
Again, I was watching Justice League. I was watching Justice League Unlimited again recently, and it was just like, one thing that hammers home there is like, the Martian Manhunter in like every version is the guy that brings the League together, and it's like everybody else has their own book. He has the League. The League is his family because he has nothing else. He lost his family, and these people became his family. It's one thing that's great about the character. It feels like if you're going to do a Justice League movie, you should probably be building up to the White Martians. Build up to that, and with like a little nuggets of other things here and there. Like maybe I think it would be the way I would do it. Yeah, no, it just like he's just there because we forgot him. We forgot him.
No, no, he's there because once again, this movie, it was never meant to be a movie. It was meant to be two movies. All right, and Martian Manhunter was most likely going to play another role in the second part, and I remember he mentions to Bruce Wayne. That's who he sees at the second part.
Right.
That it's very much implied that he knows about Darkseid, and he's warning them about Darkseid, and the fact that it's in this version, it's Apocalypse that effed up Mars, not the White Martians, or not some other version or whatever. So it's Darkseid. Okay. You know what bothers me about all that, though?
Effing up a classic plot line, which would have been better if they just did it more accurate to the original.
No. Believe it or not, no.
Okay.
I mean, but it's already screwed anyway. I don't care. That's not the point. The point I'm getting at is, okay, so you actually decided to make an excuse and a connection for Martian Manhunter to be there, to, I don't know, actually be in the League. Right? Which is what was needed if you're going to put him in.
Yeah.
And then, you see this is you figure it out that stuff is happening, but you don't help it. Stop Steppenwolf.
No, they've got this. They're fine. Bye.
No. But you're concerned about Darkseid. You should be concerned of his minions as well. The whole thing. Because what if the Justice League wasn't put together?
You don't get it, Josh. Okay, if you had read more Rob Liefeld comics instead of all these good writers out there, you'd understand that he was doing super important things, and he's there to show up and be ominous because a darkness is coming. Because Rob Liefeld watched Terminator and saw that a storm is coming thing at the end and put it in all of his books. That's how Cable was able to learn about the Scourge, the greatest threat to the Marvel Universe ever that nobody remembers or cares about, because it was in a Rob Liefeld book. I know Rob Liefeld's awesome because Ethan Van Sciver says so, and we know Ethan Van Sciver's never wrong. Comic book pro secrets, Josh, in your face. From the creator of Cyberfrog.
Alright, so...
Cyberfrog never sucks.
Really quickly, to say that this version is better than the original it's obvious. In my personal opinion, it is. If you're comparing them,
I will give it that. I will give it that.
I don't like either one, but the Snyder one does make more sense to a degree, of course.
Right.
But it makes more sense in the A plot of it all.
Yeah.
And it does work more in the emotion and developing characters. And like, holy shit, character development, son of a bitch. But
that's a single
I'm going to undercut that a little.
Yeah.
I'm going to undercut that, though.
Yeah.
Because as much as because Aquaman is better in it, Flash is not as annoying, and Cyborg is really good, and his whole thing with his dad, honestly. But it's 4 hours. You better freaking be able to do that in 4 hours.
It's almost like he can't be concise.
And here's the funny thing, too, because you know what? I think he could. Because I think 2 of those goddamn hours were dedicated to slow-mo.
Yeah.
If you take away all the slow motion, you can speed this up.
He's weirdly obsessed with this kind of stuff, too, where it's like he does these longer, unbroken... It's like he's trying to be fucking Peter Jackson. And frankly, I get annoyed when Peter Jackson does it. Like, the first couple Lord of the Rings movies, it's like... You know, especially I remember at the time, it was like, this was such a big deal. It was like, you wanted to watch that 3 fucking hour Return of the King version. You wanted to watch all the endings. It was like, all the extra stuff they added was kind of neat. But after a while, it's just like, alright, I'm done. Like, so when the Hobbit movies roll around, and this motherfucker starts doing this again, it's like, bitch, I don't care. It's a 50-page book. So like 100, yeah, like, how fucking short is The Hobbit? The Hobbit's a short as fuck book, but you added a bunch of Silmarillion shit in there that wasn't there in the first place. I don't need to see every single fucking thing. Not to mention your main orc is fucking CGI. Don't even. It's not like there's some ripped out there stunt actor who's playing a Zog. Don't give me that shit. So it's like
the problem. You know what's killing me too is I bet you that the motion cap guy was probably ripped. He could have just as easily been the dude in makeup. But anyway,
but everybody started doing. I remember, like, shortly after, everybody started doing that. Like, they took scenes out of the Ben Affleck Daredevil, which you and I adore.
Oh no! That's nothing new. Director's cuts exist. It's just what happened is there was a huge push to make them available to DVD. That's what you're saying.
And it hurt a lot of movies. The
extended edition to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and it
feels like everyone think, oh yeah, let's do that too. I mean, there's an extended version, the unrated version of Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
that's more to Zach. It's longer. It does make more sense.
Yeah,
like a lot of the plot holes in it, they're freaking plugged up. It makes more sense. But again, it goes back to Snyder can't tell the goddamn story.
Yeah,
without it being over freaking time.
Yeah, it's like you didn't put it in the okay. Like, I like to defend Abrams' Star Trek. And I remember, like, there's a bunch of expanded universe material around that about, like, Nero, like they knew that the Romulan sun was going to go supernova, and Picard went to the Federation to talk to them.
Yeah,
and Nero believed in Picard and believed in Spock that they were going to make this happen. There's all this good shit that's just not in the movie. And so when the movie comes up, even though I like the movie, I can't give you credit for it because you didn't put it in the movie. That's great in terms of supplementary material, but it's like you still didn't put your best foot forward, you know. And then of course Picard fucked everything up after that. But it's like,
we're not talking about that.
Yeah, we know. No, it hurts me.
The point is, Snyder could tell the story if he just stays on point and he stays to a certain limit. I mean, it's like, here's the thing. The reason, I don't want to go back to it too much, but the reason why Lord of the Rings is a good example is that, see, there's a lot of information in those books.
Right.
Those first 3 books are dense as hell.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of information that is not spoken as dialogue. It's in narration or someone's point of view.
Yeah.
So they have to find a way to bring that out. And also try to make it seem like casual conversation, which is not easy to do. Especially Tolkien prose. So it's like, you gotta give them, that's the reason why I have so much time. And as fans, they were like, let's do all of the book as much as we can. They did make changes, but let's do what we can, and then when they tell us we gotta cut this down, we can cut it down.
Right.
We'll know what we want to say. But let's just get it all out there. Screw it.
Yeah.
Whereas with Snyder, his stories are not as long. Like, the plot of Justice League doesn't need to be 4 goddamn hours. The plot.
I didn't even want to insult the man right now, but it's just like he's no J.R.R. Tolkien. It's even speaking positively of Snyder.
I'm not trying to get that. I'm just saying that the point is, I don't have a problem with the movie being long. Honestly, if it's good enough and there's enough story, fine. I'll sit the 3 hours or whatever. I mean, Endgame is 3 hours. For God's sake. I'll sit there to 3 almost 4 hours. But there has to be enough story. It has to be like, a lot happened. But in Justice League, not really.
Yeah.
However, the reason the movie's long also is because he's kind of squeezing in what was supposed to be in, part 2.
Right.
That's what it is. So it's not really one movie, now is it? There's this whole epilogue with the nightmare thing, as they call it.
Oh, we get to see Jared Leto Joker again.
Yeah.
I was hoping I'd never see that again in my life. But he's there.
Now, as a result of that, the end of the movie, and then this big extra part, you got people going from hashtag release the Snyder Cut to hashtag restore the Snyderverse. That is now the new thing. The fans want the return of this nonsense. So they want the DCEU to go back to Snyder's thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that will bring me to my thing. Because
I think you and I just don't understand. It's like, how do you... I mean, I feel like your brother's part of this, and I love your brother, but at the same time, it's just like, you call yourselves comic book fans? It's just like you want this instead of, like, it could be so much better than what we're given.
But why, though?
Yeah. I leave that to you. You're...
Exactly. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, so...
I will meanwhile fascinate with the viewers to how much soda I can drink in one sitting.
So, what I kind of want to talk about, and this is not perfect. I barely even say this is good. This is just, it's a rough idea outline that I call my phase 1.
Josh, your shits are better than what they put out there. Don't sell yourself short, sir.
We'll see. What happens here?
This man is the greatest dungeon master I've ever had for me. This guy made a comic book role-playing game that I played in high school. It's the greatest role-playing I've ever played. He's what made me a DM today. He's awesome. Josh, you're great. The world's going to know it.
Thank you.
No problem.
What I was trying to say is... Okay, Eddie, Dread Pirate said this. You said this. Where you said... Damn, I lost it.
I made you blush, and you forgot what you were going to say.
Yeah, you kept freaking filleting me with the goddamn game and stuff, and I'm like, I'm lost on this shit. What are you going to say?
Making a better DC.
No, the fact that they were afraid.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers was afraid of being compared to Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with this.
Yeah.
Because, one, they should not have been afraid of it. They should own it and just say, fuck you.
Yeah.
if they were proud of being the owners of DC Comics as they have been for what, 5 decades, they should have said, these stories that we're telling are based on properties that have been around for, again, at that time, we're talking Man of Steel, around that time it was about 75 years.
Right.
Superman was old. So we've been around for more than 75 years. And in that time, we've always had a competitor.
Right.
Which modern days is known as Marvel Comics.
Right.
And we have, for many years, competed to see who was going to be the best. So we've had our ups and downs. We've had good rivalry, bad rivalry, whatever. And there have been times that many characters and storylines mirror each other.
Yeah.
There's even arguments of who made him first or who made that girl first. It doesn't matter. That's always going to happen.
Yeah.
In fact, we, DC, created the concept of the super team, not once, but twice. And the second time was the Justice League. And if not for the Justice League, we wouldn't have them as the inspiration for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And the Avengers.
And the X-Men.
Avengers are created, their model is essentially the same as Justice League. Yeah. Justice League was a bunch of characters that all had their own comic stories.
Yeah.
Except for one character, and I'll get to him in a minute. And then they were pulled together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers, it's the same story. Which means that you should have movies of the important characters of the Justice League to lead up to a Justice League film. The major difference with Justice League to Avengers is that the core founding member team, each member deserves their own movie.
Yeah.
Like, from the beginning, they deserve their own goddamn movie.
Even Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter's whole thing was he was a detective first. He was living amongst us. And
yeah, but Martian Manhunter doesn't. Like, here's the thing. Martian Manhunter, for me, is the soul of the Justice League, like you said. Mm-hmm. But he also has that same distinction where he's not very well known unless you're a Justice League fan. If you read the comics, watch the cartoon, all that kind of stuff, you don't really know or respect him.
Yeah.
If you are, then you do. Well, it's the same thing for the Avengers with Hawkeye and Black Widow. They show them in Iron Man 2 and Thor respectively to kind of like, hey, they're coming, they're going to be. And then, like I said, they Black Widow really got more development in Avengers. Not really Hawkeye. Hawkeye, unfortunately, spent most of the time being brainwashed. And then
you're just mad that he's alive.
Avengers Age of Ultron really did
do another
more.
episode where you rant about Black Widow dying in Endgame, because it's like you're just mad that Clint made it out. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying the truth, because the truth is,
we're gonna meet Jeremy Renner one day, and I'm just gonna go up and it's like, this guy right here, he wanted you dead. He wants you dead.
I believe there's something to the rumor that Hawkeye was meant to die in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Now, I have no confirmation. I have no proof that he really was, or anything, or why he was kept alive. My personal guess, I have my own little conspiracy theories that I think Hawkeye was meant. Because think about this, a lot of development of him, we get to see his family and the ranch and all this stuff, and I keep thinking, oh God, is Hawkeye 2 days from retirement? This is too much, Hawkeye. I know
he was.
This guy's gonna go.
He was, and that's why Natasha wasn't gonna let that happen. And what it boils down to is you and I are the Hulk. You and I are the Hulk, and like, and we're just throwing benches across lakes.
No, wait. So my point is, I think, again, speculation. Don't hold me to this, people.
Yeah.
But I really believe that Quicksilver was killed because the Evan Peters Quicksilver was so damn good.
Yeah.
Studio basically panicked and said, "Hey, switch it out. Kill Quicksilver, and then keep Hawkeye." And I think that might have been one of those other things Whedon was like, about, but didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't see that coming? So,
I didn't see
think so, because
everything
in the movie screamed Hawkeye had 2 days left from retirement. Screamed it. Anyway,
they're gonna do a storyline. They're gonna do a storyline adventure where like the entire planet gets destroyed, and they go back in time and fix it or something like that. But it's like the only person left alive is Hawkeye. That's gonna be the only person to live. He's gonna outlive everybody.
That does tie to an alternate universe. But anyway,
Okay.
What was I going to say? So
Justice League.
if you're gonna compare DC to Marvel and Marvel to DC, always. That's just how it works. So who cares? Own it. However, the irony is that they didn't want to copy. They did copy them, but they copied them in the worst ways.
Yeah.
As opposed to the good ones. The way they should have done is they should have. I mean, maybe not call it phases, but find some other word. There's a thesaurus out there. Call it something else. But they should have organized it into moments, several movies, beginning and then ending with Justice League. And go again and again and again. Well, what did they do that copied like Marvel and sucked? First off, they said, okay, we need a superhero. First, we need a success. Just make a success. And we're like, oh, you know who's due for a reboot is Superman. Okay, fine, it's a Superman. And then let's just do it. And they threw a few little Easter eggs or whatever. It did so well that they started to think, okay, screw it. We got it. Let's just do this. This one didn't fail like Green Lantern. And yes, we bring up Green Lantern because Green Lantern was supposed to be the beginning of the DCEU.
That was their Iron Man.
That was their Iron Man. The worst part is, that was actually my first choice. In person, I swear to God, in my original writing of the ideas, I always believed that the beginning of the DC cinematic universe should have been Green Lantern.
Josh, how does it feel to know that you have some kind of evil twin out there who's a horrible Warner Brothers executive?
Oh no, I love how some gremlin in the middle of the night stole my idea, my opinion, anyway.
Hal Jordan should be the first character in our movie universe. We're gonna do a movie.
It wasn't just
hire that guy from the sitcoms with the pizza. Have him and the Gossip Girl. And then they'll have Hector Hammond have a big head. It'll be great. Oh, what's going on in the comics? Parallax? Alright, we'll take Parallax. We'll color him brown. Brown like my walls. Have the shit Parallax come. It'll be so good. Make lots of money. Ah.
You know what's funny is I thought at one point you defended that movie.
I never finished it. I've tried. It was like, oh, look at all this shit they put in there. That's kind of neat. It's like, yeah, they really shouldn't have done that this soon. This is wow. I'm gonna watch something else.
No, it's so bad. I personally, it pissed me off because I like Ryan Reynolds, and I love Green Lantern. I love the Green Lantern mythos. I didn't grow well. No, that's not true. My first Green Lantern I was introduced to was technically Hal Jordan, but it was Hal Jordan like when he was in the '90s coming back from retirement, and at the time there was a Jon Stewart and there was Guy Gardner, and so I got to know all three of them in the first story arc of the book coming back.
Kyle's my boy.
Old trade called the Road Home Back, and it was really good. But yeah, for most of the time, of course, like you, I grew up with Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
But Jeff Johns, who should have been the Kevin Feige of DC from the very beginning.
Yeah.
They made him eventually.
Yeah.
But they did it because there was somebody else ahead of it. And technically speaking, Zach was kind of the brain trust of it to begin with. And things were not going
Emphasis
so well.
on the word brain trust?
Oh,
I feel like I'm just an awful person making fun of Zach. But I'm just like...
Yeah. But that was a problem. These were terrible ideas, and when they got mixed reviews between Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, they were like, "Oh no, we're scared. But we need someone else." And they bring in Jeff, and Jeff's like, "But there's certain things already being made without him. He's just kind of overseeing them." And then anything he was in charge of, some of the good ideas were things like, Wonder Woman, he helped executive produce, and Aquaman, those things. But he was fired because while he was helping to create those things that were not out yet, wonderful movies like Batman v Superman and The Suicide Squad happened, and they went to panic mode and said, "Oh, we need new blood," and they got rid of him. and they threw another guy in there.
It's almost like the people that are running this company shouldn't be having a say in it. They should just sit back and collect.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, actually, I thought of this a minute ago. It's like back to Joss Whedon, not overreacting. Quentin Reviews made a good point when he reviewed To Boldly Flee. Is like, don't be Doug Walker. You can become a better director by just not being Doug. Like, if you're getting frustrated, step back, step away for a minute. Don't treat your people like crap. Don't do it. And I feel like for companies, it's like, Warner Brothers, don't be Mike Michaud. Don't be the asshole who just wants the money and then step in when you feel like to show that you're in charge, because it just really shows that you have a small dick. It's, I mean, the real problem is, it's like, I feel like, okay, you own this property, you want to make money off of it, okay, you need to hire people that know what they're doing, trust them, and walk away. That's like, I feel like that, in many regards, that's what Disney did with Marvel. It's like, oh, this Kevin Feige guy knows what he's freaking doing. And Bob Iger's like, cool, hey, you know what? We got a couple of notes, but you do your thing, man. And it's like, that's, for the longest time, that's worked out pretty well. It's like,
Well, it worked out mostly because Iger knew what he was getting.
Right.
Like, again, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was starting before Disney purchased them. Things were already in the works. And so Disney's name wasn't officially put on them until Avengers. And even then, they didn't really have a hand in it at all. Because all these were still in pre or post-production or whatever. Anyway, the point is, it was working.
Yeah.
And Iger knew it was working. So it was like, okay, every once in a while, I'll talk to Feige or whatever, but keep it where it needs to be. It's doing good. I'm trusting this. And so just letting them do their thing. It was the same thing, like, they didn't bring anyone to meddle in Marvel Comics itself.
Yeah.
We want them to help us. We want the intellectual property. But we also don't want to ruin it.
Right.
Of any way, because we have no ideas. When it comes to this, we have no ideas.
At bare minimum,
and that's really what it was. Should have been that was a good approach.
Yeah.
Now they were, again, this goes back to the same thing like I said with DC. It's like with Marvel, with Disney, they were lucky because Kevin Feige is someone who's worked in movie industry, but is a big fan, and he's a fanboy of the X-Men and Spider-Man and the Hulk and all the Avengers. So he doesn't want these to suck. Yeah. Because he's letting his heroes down if they do. Right. It's one of us. Yeah. Going up there going, don't you screw this up, goddammit. Yeah. We get one shot at this.
Yeah.
That's one shot.
Warner Brothers never has that. Warner Brothers has never done that for DC Comics. DC Comics is a talented, wonderful person who's a bit of an overachiever because they have a disapproving father who they're never good enough for, and totally is not in the fault at all given the way they're raised. It's like that. That's my issue. It's like they remember all shit like the Bat embargo, which they just rolled with, and they made good cartoons and good things regardless, even though the Bat embargo was a stupid fucking idea. It's like I don't know. It feels like you have a lot of people at the top over Warner Brothers who think they know how to make money and they don't. It's like really, it's just like they need a little bit of dose of humility and just like
know what it is. They're like most movie studios. Disney's guilty of this too. They think we know how to make the moving pictures. It's the old formula.
Yeah.
Of focus groups and testing trends and all that kind of stuff. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not about the creativity itself. If the creativity so happens to align with the synergy of what's trending today, that's when they'll buy it and put it on board. It's not about testing new ground or whatever, or at least in this case, trusting the material.
Yeah.
Trying to find people that read the material and try to understand it. And how can you modernize it? How can you update? How can you make it flow as a movie?
Yeah.
But also still keep the spirit, the narrative spirit of the comic and the characters. That's what's missing. That was my problem with that's still my problem with the DCEU, because even the movies that I actually do like in it now,
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's
Yeah.
not. It's very disjointed.
You know what it is? It's like the reverse of the X-Men movies. Whereas I feel like the X-Men movies are, over the most part, enjoyable, but the timeline is just so fucked at this point that it's like, I don't even know what's going on. And then you've got a couple of bad ones here and there, like X-Men Origins, which I still like, Dark Phoenix over here, New Mutants, which nobody saw, things like that. Whereas this, it's like inverted. It's where it's like, most of this is shit. But then you've got like a Shazam here, you got a Wonder Woman here, you got a Joker here. It's not even really part of the continuity, but whatever. You got an Aquaman there, and even like Wonder Woman 1984. You know, not good, but like not as bad as all the other shit. You know, it's just like there's still some good ideas in there. It's like, you know.
I will admit this. I don't know why I saw the Snyder cut before Wonder Woman 84, because I have not seen that.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck, man? God, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I just guess I was.
Let's not talk about Wonder Woman 1984. I haven't seen it.
Well, there we go. But no, I wanted to. No, let me go back to my DCU real quick. First off, I don't
Pirate
like
Radio,
DC
where we stand for hypocrisy.
I don't like it called Extended Universe anyway. I honestly was like, again, that's another choice that they made so they wouldn't sound just like Marvel.
We're not.
God forbid it's DC. God forbid it's the DCCU, you know, DC Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
But that's what I would call it still. Originally I was thinking Green Lantern would have been the perfect movie, the first film. But I decided to go with a template with like, okay, imagine if we just start. Okay, Green Lantern did what it did. It bombed hard. So we're starting with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I still think the name's fine because I think it's because with Superman at that time you didn't actually reboot this character that many times.
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason people think they did, but the Brandon Routh Superman Returns was supposed to be in canon with Superman 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it was meant to basically get rid of Superman 3 and 4, which I was completely for. I
am fully against, because no nuclear man, no thank you.
Oh.
Destroy Superman!
Unfortunately, that quadrilogy, you know what? Okay. Technically speaking, Superman 4 Quest for Peace is the worst one.
Technically.
But for me personally, it's Superman 3.
It's the Empire Strikes Back. Like with Star Wars, it's like, okay, for me, like Star Wars and Star Trek, like Empire Strikes Back is like I will tell this to any Star Wars fan or anybody talking about Star Wars, it's like, look, Empire Strikes Back is the best. It just is. If you're a fan, you know that it is the best movie. But personally, Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is my movie. I love that. Mm-hmm. Star Trek, it's Wrath of Khan. It just is. That is the best one. Personally, First Contact, because it's Picard's Wrath of Khan. So, like, this is like the inverse, where it's like Superman 3 Okay, no, for you, no, it's even more inverse, because not only are we talking about the bad, it's in a different order. So Superman 4 is technically the worst, it just is, but you personally fuck Superman 3. Fuck Superman 3.
Yes.
The fuck, Richard Pryor. The fuck, you're better than this.
That's a problem. That's a problem, because they took one
Remember
of the
robot lady from
comedians.
Superman 3? Remember the robot lady?
No, hold on. They took one of the funniest comedians of all time.
Yeah.
And turned him into Dane Cook. It was just, it's the worst. How could you? How dare you suck the funny from Richard Pryor?
I want to write a comic book.
You just let him go up there, continuously bomb for 2 hours.
I feel like turning Richard Pryor like into Dane Cook is like the worst, most awful hate crime anyone could. Can you imagine like a neo-Nazi regime like just abducting Richard Pryor and like experimenting on him and just turning him into Dane Cook? Like he becomes white. He becomes white and not funny and spastic and like coked out. And
that's kind of what happened in Superman 3 to me.
Oh, and Ben Shapiro's in charge of this, of course, obviously. Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson like are in a science lab, and they're experimenting on Richard Pryor, and they turn him into Dane Cook. And Donald Trump comes out and says like, Dane Cook, Rise. No,
Anyway.
Richard Cook. Richard Cook.
All right, enough of that.
Rise.
The point is, we hadn't really properly rebooted Superman, so
Right.
we keep Man of Steel, and honestly, it should be what it is. It's an origin story. Let's redo the origin. The funny thing is, the story for Man of Steel, the way it's the theatrical version, isn't so bad, to be honest. Like, I do like the idea of reintroducing Krypton. I do like the idea of Zod being shown to be put into prison. Those are things I keep. But for me, I kind of want to play with, I kind of mix, chop and screw continuity by saying, what if the reason Krypton explodes is because years earlier there was an incursion by Brainiac. Brainiac did the thing by taking, what is it called, Kandor? He took the city of Kandor.
Yeah.
Right? And in its place, because this whole thing is, I want to take the best city, the best representation of the planet, and all its data, download it, take it, and then I'm going to destroy the planet.
Yeah.
So what if he drops something that goes into the core of the planet?
Maybe that even
slowly over time
that creates kryptonite. He poisoned the core, so it gives off a radiation specific.
Yeah, but it also creates a chain reaction that's days later, weeks later, it's going to explode.
Right.
And what I decided to do was, in my brain, I tied in the fact that they never really beat Brainiac back. He left because he got what he wanted, and he left.
Yeah.
And General Zod decides to have a coup and overthrow the Kryptonian High Council because they didn't give him full powers or the military the powers to do what they need to do. And as a result, that monster got away with everything.
You could have made him compelling and
the leadership failed him. So I kind of make Zod make sense in a way. Like, it's like, kind of on the side. But they did. They didn't. They were used to, in my version, they were used to more peace, and it's more about science. And his military seems more backward to them. And they should have just done what, they're like, oh, let the military guild have just done his job. But they...
I hated Michael Shannon Zod, but it's like, he's a talented actor. It's like, I could see him, you imagine like an extended like argument with him and Russell Crowe, Jor-El, like talking about where was our council? You give me all your science and whatnot. We could have solved this. Where was your council when Brainiac came? I could see him make him 3-dimensional and interesting. Like, and they never did that. That's the funny thing too, because I wouldn't
really change a lot of the casting. And I'm not actually talking about casting in any of this. I'm just talking about the broad outline of what each movie should be. But yeah, that's what I want to see, because I think
we are in. Are we done talking about the Snyder Cut and we're officially in fixing DCEU?
Oh, we're out. We've been
okay. All right, just checking. So.
But what I think it would have been awesome, like you said, to have what's his name, Michael Shannon as Zod talking to Jor-El and having that discussion, having this argument. Like, when he busts in, he makes perfect sense. When he comes in, he brings it. Then it's like it's kind of exposition dump, but it could be more of a shouting match of, what happened. It's been weeks, and the planet's not getting better. You yourself. Because I really wanted to tie on something that Jeff Johns actually did at one point in the comics.
Yeah.
Where he retold a story that Jor-El and Zod were friends once.
Yeah.
That they had their disagreements, their debates on what mattered more for Krypton, because again, Jor-El was Science Council and Zod was Military Council and whatever. But they still loved Krypton and thought was best for its people.
Yeah.
And this becomes kind of Shakespearean, where they're split. They had kind of a understanding, kind of a brotherhood, and this is what divides them.
Yeah.
And we see kind of a piece of it. We don't know why, but we feel the passion and the pain, and then we develop it later when we bring back Zod.
That might just be two world-class actors in the scene together, but it's just like,
Now, the thing for me, though, is it's kind of crazy, because I want to... If you have a good enough script, then you can try really hard to... Because I don't even know if these actors would sign on to this. Because for me, because I wouldn't have Zod come back, actually. It's like he's the beginning part, and I'm setting him up for another movie.
Yeah, that'd be better.
But I do need,
I
need an actor that's willing to come back.
We've talked about this anytime they try to make a Fantastic Four movie, is like, stop putting Doctor Doom in every single Fantastic Four movie. Save him for later. Start with the Mole Man, or fucking start with Paste Pot Pete, or the Wizard, or some shit. Save Doom for later, because they always try to start with Doom, and they always just shoot their wad and screw it up.
Yeah.
And it's every single... Because there's been 4 of them. And unfortunately, the best one is still the Roger Corman one. Spirit Fingers. Spirit Fingers. Still the best! And, like, take your time with that. Build up to these villains. It's like... The Fantastic Four have better villains aside from Paste Pot Pete, don't they, Josh?
Yes,
Why can I only think of Paste Pot Pete?
What? I don't even... Where was Paste Pot Pete in that movie?
No, he should have been.
No,
Quality of the film.
no, you know who was in that movie?
Who?
The Jeweler, which is meant to be the Mole Man, but okay, I don't know about you,
I
but
love
it was
the Jeweler so
kind of
much.
that was problematic for me. Seriously, because when I saw the movie, and this little
I'm
old
the
white
Jewish
man
villain.
who's a miser for jewelry and money, and I kept thinking, please don't tell me this man is Jewish. Please don't tell me that that's supposed to be, like, it's a Jewish supervillain who's the jeweler and cares about money. Please don't do this. And I
love the Jewish.
I think it's implied.
I love just the gun packing homeless dudes in that movie. They're ready to fuck you up. It's like
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Too. That's fun.
Well,
no, I will say this, that I love that movie because it's the greatest comedy I've ever seen.
Oh, it is.
It's
it is.
So bad.
Yeah, it's like
so
you know,
bad. It's hilarious.
Look, hey, Roger Corman could make a good movie if he feels like it, but he's got to get the budget under $25, and so he just
So anyway,
that man is a god to me. He can do no wrong.
With Man of Steel, that's the first part of it where Krypton explodes, the coup, the whole thing. But I had no problem with a lot of the movie being, Clark Kent being raised and understanding his abilities, his power and stuff. I actually wouldn't mind. Again, it's not very original, but I do like the idea of what if we pull kind of a Smallville and Lex Luthor and Clark Kent knew each other as teenagers and that they had a relationship as friends.
It's almost like there was a TV series that did this better than the movie did.
It's just there's things about it that really work in it.
Yeah.
And I just think that was kind of cool because it makes it that hurts more when Luthor grows up to be Luthor. I mean, you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But when he becomes that guy, and at the same time he still cares about Clark.
Yeah.
And you're worried about him finding out he's Superman. And somewhere, I don't know, maybe in the movie or later on, I let it know that he does discover him.
Yeah.
But his ego won't let him reveal him or whatever. But Luthor is a villain, but I don't want him to be the punching villain. I don't want him to be the character that he has to stop. Oh my god.
I'm down for it. I'm down for punching Luthor 10 movies in. It's a final battle, and he has that kryptonite suit.
Yeah.
But nothing before that.
No. I'm talking about the first film. To me, Luthor is not the villain. He's an antagonist. He goes like, we see younger Luthor, and we like him, sort of. We kind of get weird vibes and such. We get suspicious about him. But older Luthor is really more, he's Tony Stark, but with a dark side.
Right.
That we don't really know about and we don't really trust. And we kind of... One of the things I want to play with is the fact that he has been exploring the concept that he's been searching for life outside of this world. In his mind, he's looking for someone whose intelligence matches his own. He's bored with everyone here. No one matches his wit in business or science or anything.
Yeah. And
he honestly thinks mankind, aside from himself, is pretty much an evolutionary dead end. So he's looking to broaden it. And this actually links him up with a drone of Brainiacs.
Right.
And so we have because I like the concept Jeff Johns did where every version we've ever seen, from the Golden Age to the Silver Age to the Bronze Age of Brainiac, is actually a drone. Is not the real one. And that
he's a biomechanical Borg-like life form. Hive-minded life form, because especially the older versions, I'm a psychic, but I'm fighting Superman for some reason. It's like, play with that. It's all really extensions of some kind of larger entity that's networked these things together.
So the idea is that he's trying to be the man who makes first contact.
Right.
He makes contact with him and tries to bring him there, but he has no idea that the Brainiac has other ideas, other plans.
Yeah.
And yes, this plot does have similarities to his appearance in the animated series.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to rip it off too much. Huh?
Brainiac Luthor.
Yeah, but I'm trying
That's
to...
late in the game. That's Justice League.
From the Superman animated series. From the very beginning, it is Luthor Corp that actually makes the connection to Brainiac with satellites. Right. And they make a deal, and then Brainiac reneges, hacks into his computers and starts doing the thing. And for me, I kind of think that that's a pretty cool intro, to the story. I mean, again, change it up a little bit. Try not to rip it off too much, but I like the idea of a version of Brainiac, one that Superman himself can defeat, which gives him the illusion of thinking that Brainiac is a push-up. Right. Because I really want to bring Brainiac back.
Yeah.
Several times.
And one of those top tier villains, because we were talking about WandaVision last time and how I think Agatha Harkness is great, and you're like, no, Eddie, no, she's no Thanos, no. It's like, but you want those quality villains that are a threat. Yeah. That are when Loki if Loki gets pissed, if Loki comes back to life, or we're going to see him in his own series. Mm-hmm. And shows up, and it's like, yeah, I'm not feeling the Brotherhood right now, or the fact that, I'm not the nice one that died fighting Thanos, and I want to take over the planet again. It's a big deal,
That's all that you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you know that I don't know?
Do you remember Avengers Endgame?
Yes.
And you remember that the Tesseract gets stolen?
Yeah, I know. That's what the show's going to be about.
Yeah.
There's a time displace Loki running around. I know. I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay.
Be patient with me, Josh. I haven't finished.
That's going to be that's the interesting thing is that
your niece keeps insisting on Paw Patrol. That's why I haven't seen Falcon the Winter Soldier yet.
No, what I'm saying is that this Loki gives us a chance to have that villainous Loki life, because he really didn't get to go all the way through his redemption arc like the other Loki that died did. Mm-hmm. So we get a chance to see it again if we could, or at least stay with the that bad boy that the women love so much for a bit longer before we redeem him. So it's that kind of thing. But no, for me, it's a lot of setup. The movie has a lot of these big characters and everything, but the idea, what should matter, is the heart of who is Clark Kent / Superman. Is that the humanity of him?
And I feel like in Man of Steel they fucked that up too, because it felt like let's just copy other things. Let's just copy X-Men. Let's just copy Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a freak. We hate him because he's weird. And it felt like they were trying to follow a lot of it felt a little Spider-Man at certain points where it's like he's in high school, things aren't working well.
No, it's worse than that, because the problem with that movie is that it's co-written by Christopher Nolan, and it's too much like his Batman.
Yeah.
Where it's that outsider that's not sure if he should be, but then he learns to be the symbol that they need and not that they deserve, or some bullshit. It's like, that's Batman.
Yeah, it's Batman.
That works for Batman.
Yeah.
Not Superman.
Superman
it's different, goddammit. It's different.
Okay, you can kind of explore stuff like that with Superman, but it's different. Superman is an outsider who is, first of all, he sees the best of us. He finds two good parents who accept him no matter what, and he sees the potential of what we have. So Superman has the confidence where even if he was dealing with some X-Men level bullshit, we don't want you around here, it might get him a little bummed out, but Superman is a strong enough, Superman would go up to Senator Kelly and says, you judge me regardless of everything that I've done for you and everything all I want is your acceptance. But if you don't want to give that to me, that's fine. Don't worry. If the world is ever threatened, I will show up. But you're going to leave these mutants alone. I'm now picturing some kind of crazy Superman X-Men crossover that would be awesome. Superman can deal with that and keep going because he's Superman. And he has his own way of dealing with it, where it's like that probably would bum out Batman to a point, but the feeling of isolation. But even then, Batman would also, it would turn into something else. It would turn into something else with him. It's just like Batman. It's a journey of a man dealing with his depression by having a constant vengeance quest against the societal institutions that led to him losing someone. Like that's like Batman's like I will not rest until I will make sure no little boy ever goes through what I went through again. It's like that's his whole thing. Superman is like like when Hawk in Justice League Unlimited, when it's like Hawkgirl's like, oh, you humans, I don't know how you do. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean you. Like, no, I take it as a compliment. Earth is my home now. It's like it,
no, it's what was a Donner film to begin with. It was. They are great people, Kal-El. If they choose to be, they only lack the light to show them the way.
Yeah,
and that is why I sent you, my only son, to show them the way. And that's it. That's the thing, is he is the symbol, and he realizes that he has, because of his gifts and his opportunities, the things he's afforded in life, he has a certain standing. He has a platform for himself to do something greater for the planet and for the people who live on it.
Yeah,
people that he counts himself as one of them.
Yeah,
and he's there to show them, oh, even I can't get to every problem, Superman says, but know that somehow it will be fixed. It will be all right. Yeah.
And even though they're still fundamentally very different characters, is part of the reason why I like Goku, because they have similarities. Goku is more about punching things and being a better fighter, but it's like last child of his alien race, adopted by a planet, that.
Oh no, they took that.
It's similar. It's similar.
But he's not a. But Goku's not a symbol, though.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Goku didn't really go out into the people on purpose to try to help, whatever. He went on his little adventures with Dragon Balls and stuff, and he's a personal.
Yeah,
it's about himself and his identity, not Superman. And now, that's the thing. You can explore identity and philosophy and psychology with Superman. I don't have a problem with this.
Right.
That's kind of things that we're dealing with in Man of Steel. The thing is, it's the execution, and it's about his reaction, his personal responses to those questions are different than that.
Right.
And it wouldn't be he wouldn't be depressed, but it wouldn't last long. It'd be different. He'd snap out of it. There is a film now. When I came up with these concepts, this was years and years ago, like when the DCEU was very new. But there's a film now, an animated film about Superman, and I forget what it's called. I have to look it up later, but it just came out, and it redoes Superman's origin with him. It's almost like the proper Man of Steel in a way, where it's like showing his early days, him first trying to make the costume, him meeting Lex, and it ends with him fighting Parasite and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, and Martian Manhunter's in it.
Yeah,
and Lobo's in it. And the whole point is, it doesn't matter that all these characters are in there.
Now that's who should have been in Smallville, Lobo.
Who?
That's who should have been in Smallville, Lobo.
Oh, Lobo was a bit of a hard character to sell at that time.
There was a series that DC did called Krypton where Lobo was in it, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's another episode. You need to tell me about that because I didn't see that. But I saw Lobo in it, and was like,
he was done well. There's only one major change to that Lobo that I was like, okay, it's different, but it works.
Yeah,
only one. But what the point of that movie was to kind of explore what makes a human or an alien. What does that mean? What is that concept?
Mm-hmm.
And you have Superman, who's raised by humans with love and care and kindness. And even though he's an alien, he feels more human. Then in that movie, you have Martian Manhunter, which is much like him. He's alone. He's like the last of his kind, but he doesn't integrate with humanity because he looks different. He knows he can't really blend with them. He can't really be one with them. Lobo embraces the fact that he is an alien and doesn't give two fucks and does whatever he wants and messes with everything. And then finally,
that's our Vegeta.
And finally, you have Parasite in the film, which is a human that gets transformed to become an alien of sorts.
Yeah.
And he uses it so that he can get revenge on people.
Yeah.
On society. F society. I'm gonna take over and destroy it. And that it's kind of like these three people helped to shape Clark in that movie of what I want to be. I mean, his morals come from his parents.
Yeah.
But moving forward, what am I supposed to be as the alien?
Right.
As the other person. And it's like, do I want to be like the Martian Manhunter, who he's a very good person, but he's also very detached.
Yeah.
don't know. I don't want to be alone. Do I be Lobo and embrace myself? Yeah, but he's crazy.
But he has a cool space bike.
He does have a
cool space bike.
And somehow he can smoke cigars in space. I don't know how he does it, but I'll find out. And then there's Parasite, where here's somebody who's given power and then completely abuses it. And now I realize how easily I can abuse my powers. I know that I can.
Yeah.
But I don't want to because I care. I want the planet to grow. Anyway, that's okay. That's
back to focusing, fixing DCEU. Fixing DCEU.
Okay, this is going to move a little fast. No pun intended. Because some of these...
Let's talk about Suicide Squad. No change, perfect movie.
No. The second film... Let's see, the first one will be Man of Steel, and that will be some of the changes. Like I said, the middle of the movie and where the movie is long is going to be the heart. It's going to be the Kim growing up and developing and relations and stuff and setting up. I want to throw in an action moment here and there, but for the most part, it's development. It's like a drama with powers, and it gets crazy at the end when Brainiac arrives.
Yeah. See, they're so afraid of doing things like this, but when they do it, it pays off. It's
With the second movie, I think we need to go backwards. I mean, instead of a god, let's go with someone who's born a god. Let's go with a human who becomes a god, and I'm going to go Flash. Yeah, and for me, it's very simple. It's an origin story. It's the lightning. His mother dies, that kind of thing. You can set up the idea of Reverse Flash murdering his mom for later.
Right.
The character, the person that haunts him, that he feels like he'll never get to solve that murder, but he won't give up. Yeah. He's going to keep going. And I like the idea of introducing Star Labs.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him joining them, working for him, kind of similar to the show. But I don't want to copy the show completely. But I do also like the idea of Star Labs just existing. Like I still want him to be a CSI. I don't want him to be in Star Labs itself. I want him to have friends there. But I do like the idea of Star Labs because I want that to be the place where it gets robbed.
Right.
Because I want to introduce the rogues, and I want the rogues to be characters that end up stealing tools that are now used as weapons for the rogues. Like this is where we get Captain Cold's gun and the Mirror Master's technology and things like that.
I don't want to braze this specter, but kind of like what Sony was trying to do with the Sinister Six, but thankfully never got a chance to do, but just the rogues. Just the Flash rogues.
Sort of, except, I mean, for the moment, I would just make the rogues like 4 people.
And like make them a team, so it's like, it kind of like, oh, okay, dude, I'm getting the freeze gun. Dude, I like this mirror tech. It's like hey, dude. Yeah, but, I told you I could take an apple off your head with a boomerang. I got the boomerangs. It's like you could.
Yeah, for me, yeah, it'd be a bunch of those guys. Like I'm trying to think who I'd put. It'd probably be Captain Cold, Mirror Master, Weather Wizard. I want Golden Glider because that's Captain Cold's sister.
Yeah.
And his weakness.
I'm tempted to have the Trickster just because of Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's version of the Trickster.
Maybe later. I kind of want to do Heatwave.
Yeah.
Just
that Trickster. Nice. When you finish that beer, when you go turn yourself into the cops, you got me again, Flash.
I think we could do that later, but I do like that. Don't get me wrong, and it may change. But I kind of want the characters that I know that their weapons are a little more high tech than them.
Yeah.
Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to have it where Captain Cold, Mirror, what's his name, Weather Wizard, Golden Glider, and Heatwave are just a gang. Yeah. Really good, like hyper intense, extreme gang. Kind of similar to like what they were doing in the very beginning of Fast and the Furious. You know how they were robbing trucks and high speed cars. Yeah, I want them to do that, like extreme sport thievery.
Yeah, Toretto's group.
But then what happens is, and they're famous in the underworld of Central City.
Right.
But their identity is unknown. But what happens is that there's a scientist who works for Star Labs, and this is the Mirror Master, and he gets kicked out for his crazy ideas, but yet his technology completely is owned by the guy in charge of Star Labs at the time, and basically the creator now wants revenge. He's like, screw these guys, I want my shit back, and I need thieves. Yeah. And he goes to them, and then he says, I can guarantee upgrading you guys.
Yeah.
So he goes and helps them know what to steal, and that becomes the heat gun and the cold gun and the rod that creates the weather, that controls the weather and stuff. And now, as for the major focus, because the other characters will have their moments, they'll have some, witty dialogue or things to say or whatever, but I think the focus needs to be on Leonard Snart. It needs to be Captain Cold.
Yeah.
Captain Cold is that blue-collar thief. He's kind of what Vulture. Michael Keaton's Vulture was.
Yeah.
It's almost like they stole that. They said, "Oh, let's look at Leonard Snart from Jeff Johns' run on The Flash."
Yeah, because I remember the Vulture was like, "I want to be young again. Yeah. I'm gonna have a Vulture suit."
No, something like that. Like in the other one, he was an old inventor / millionaire or whatever, and he was kicked out because he was old, and he was like, "I'll show you old," and he steals the stuff and does a thing.
Spider-Man, I'm going to date your Aunt May. And then I'm going to make weird clones of your parents.
But I think it'd be really cool to make it more like The Flash, dealing with these people who are like him. They're very human. They're not metas yet. I'd like to do with like meta characters in the next movie.
Well, they're like classically they're technology villains. Do any of them become metas?
In the New 52, they made them metas, but then in some case they went back on it because it was not cool.
Oh, it's almost like that story sucked.
Yeah, because it's like I get what they were trying to do, but but there's a charm to Captain Cold not being a meta.
You know what, people? I'm gonna interrupt you here, Josh, because I just feel like I'd like to talk to the audience for a minute and just talk about how you know how bad the New 52 is. The New 52 makes us forget that there was a 52 that was good. That's how bad the New 52 was. And all you non-comic fans are like, what the fuck are you talking about? 52 was a really good series in DC, which was great, and it had it focused on a bunch of like characters that weren't like, it was like Guardians of the Galaxy. You had like characters that weren't the main focus that were suddenly put in the limelight, and it was awesome. And then Dan reboot DiDio in his infinite wisdom, I'm gonna make the New 52 to be better, and I'm just gonna reboot everything, and it sucked in.
That was also a mandate from above them. That had to do again with their parent company of DC. We know who that is.
Yeah. Dan blamed Dad once again, and Dad was at fault. But Elmo, I fall down. Everything was so dark.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Sorry. So anyway, that's basically The Flash. Again, we focus on the character and most of the origin stuff. But I do like them taking some time out with the villain as much as they can, if they can. I don't mind the Marvel approach or formula in a way, just in the beginning, where we focus on our heroes. There's nothing wrong with us getting to know these people, so that when we go into their sequels, we don't have to focus as much and we can give more spotlight to the villain. But again, I am someone who doesn't want to kill every villain I see in the movies. I want Captain Cold and the Rogues to live because it's better to see them come back.
Every villain must die, Josh. We have to kill every villain, so we can't have any characters come back. Anyway.
Moving on.
I agree with you on that.
Number 3 is Wonder Woman. And this one is kind of boring because when I wrote it, they ended up making it a movie. Like, the plot to Wonder Woman, I mean, like, I was on board.
That's the one people like. It's like...
But it's the one but that's why I think it's biased that I liked it, because it's what I would have done with the movie.
Yeah, they did the best job of it.
Yeah, let's kind of make her a mix between Thor and Cap. Let's do a period piece to kind of switch it up a little bit.
And the reason I've personally avoided is because we were 3 movies into this point, and it's like, okay, DC, I don't trust you. I don't trust you with my kids. And, no, Wonder Woman, we gotta write this. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm. It's easy to begin. I'm not a fool. No. I'm never going to dance again the way I dance with you, DC. So it's like I just have been avoiding... Because you made me see Suicide Squad, that's why.
I think it was a safe bet to go ahead with World War I, because it's a different type... It was similar, but a different type of war than World War II.
Yeah.
And I still support the idea of Ares. I wouldn't... There's some things I would change.
No handlebar mustache?
Huh?
No handlebar mustache, perhaps?
I am a fan of the handlebar mustache. Probably more. Yeah, more mustache.
Like,
I don't know. I think
Alfred Molina from the animated version, which again they're ripping themselves off.
Yes.
He's so good. His Ares is just so good. It's just I love Alfred Molina in anything.
Yeah, it's like that. Here's the thing too. I know what they were doing with the casting of Ares. That's not a problem. Like I like the idea that he's unassuming, sort of.
Yeah.
And then he should transform. The gods should have the ability to transform. I mean, have you not read Greek mythology? They're turning into bulls and swans and like the golden showers and shit.
Ancient Greece are in some Ancient Greece are into some fucked up shit, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
All our fetishes come from Greece. But anyway, I
you know how we made the Minotaur.
I think the movie did what it needed to do. I don't know. I think a sequel to Wonder Woman kind of works to also keep it as a period piece, in theory. But for me, I want to kind of touch on later the fact of where the hell she's been. Because for me, I like the idea that she was actually some adventure somewhere. She ends up getting locked in a mystical prison by like Cersei or somebody, and she's stuck.
Yeah.
She's locked out of time. It's kind of the reason why we haven't seen her for a very long time.
I don't want to get too on much of a tangent for Wonder Woman, but it was like, I remember when they announced Wonder Woman 1984, and I remember thinking to myself, why the 80s? And it was just like, I felt like, well, if they do it right, that'd be fine, but it was like, I felt like, it just seemed weird, like, to skip that much time, and like I feel like a bad example of doing that would be the X-Men movies, where it's just like, okay, we're gonna start in the 60s, okay, now we're in the 70s, now we're in the 80s, and then just like, why do we have to wait 10 years to see you guys go on a fucking adventure? It's like, and why are you all the same age? Stop!
Well, that was the bigger problem. The bigger problem was that as they were jumping through the decades, because actually I didn't have a problem with that concept, but yeah, as they kept going, it's like you all look still the same.
Yeah. Like, they just didn't age. What are you, the Simpsons?
No.
What the fuck?
They can't even try to age, make up anybody. Like, some of them had excuses, like Mystique. But, like, Beast and everyone, really?
Yeah. Oh, and Jennifer Lawrence, your favorite actress, who refused to, like, go into makeup by the end of the production.
Yeah, but the thing is, at least we didn't necessarily have to. We could have. We didn't have to recast her in a sense because of the whole she ages slowly.
Well, you know, in Dark Phoenix, the frickin' wooden fence took care of the recasting there, sir.
Yeah, but they
that was the best part of that movie.
That's a whole other thing. All right, so
it's okay, Gene. I'm there, Fuck. Thank you, Gene.
The fourth film again. That's what I'm saying. This is going to go by fast because the fourth film is again, it's Aquaman. And again, it's very much. I mean, there's certain elements I would change from the movie because I thought the movie was too much Aquaman. Like
Jason Momoa's beautiful smile.
Really in there. There was a lot that was really in there.
Yeah.
But I still like the act of I still like the origin story, and I still like Ocean Master as the main villain.
Yeah.
I kind of think it'd be cool to have set up for Black Manta, but to have Black Manta, his origin, and then he's there, and I kind of liked it in the film, but it is a lot, though.
When I finally do watch these DC movies that you like, I'm going to start with Aquaman. Because I think you've done... Alright, so, okay, audience at home. Josh has a power. He has a superpower. And he is the greatest salesman I have ever met in my life. Where Josh can take anything and make you want to watch it or read it or whatnot. He sells people. He sells people things. And sometimes Josh will sell you on something that's like dog shit, but he likes it. And then you'll go and watch it, and then this wasn't as awesome as you said it was, Josh, and then you get mad at him, and that happens. But like, so Josh like hard sells Aquaman for me. Because again, I've been avoiding most of them until your brother dragged me to Joker. And like out of those three that you like, it's like that one sounds like the most fun. I think after that, I don't know. Wonder Woman, I like Gal Gadot and Nazi punching, so and it's probably gonna be on Wonder Woman because part of me just can't stand Shazam doing the floss dance. Part of me just like, no, you know what? We talked about this before. I hate things that remind me of how goofy I am. And, like I hate SpongeBob, even though basically we are SpongeBob and Patrick Starfish, respectively. And eventually I finally come to terms with this, that it's like, I had like a Jacob's Ladder-like moment. It was like, I hated you all these years, and you were me, and we started making out. So I think the problem with Shazam is that reminds me too much of me, and so I'll probably like that one the best. But I think it's going to be Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Shazam for me, in that order, for those reasons. But Aquaman's the one he has, like, made sound the coolest in my brain. So.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like I said, Aquaman's mostly unchanged. I still like the idea of his whole journey of discovery. Where does he really belong? Because he's half of Earth, the land, and half of the sea, and all that kind of stuff. Again, and I don't mind the crazy fun of the thing. I really like a lot of what they did in the movie. Yeah. Honestly. But there's a lot. The problem, I think, is too much going on in that film at the same time. And
it's not perfect.
No, it's not.
I was right to avoid it.
No, it was. It was never perfect. When I told you the first time too, I said, no, it's got its problems, but I mean, it's so good compared to what it is. And it's like, the thing is, it's a lot of fun.
Flip flopper.
No, it's a lot of no, because the strength of the movie is not the logic. The strength of the movie is the enjoyability.
Okay.
There's just things in there where you're like, this could be stupid, but I'm enjoying the shit of this. Like, this is really cool. Like, and people have personality in that film. Like, you can have your brooding character, but not everyone is dark and darkness. No parents. It's like if you're going to be brooding, let there be a purpose for it. But otherwise, there's life in the film.
Yeah.
There's different facets. There's color. I mean, it's just like it's a really good film. But at the same time, I think you could pull back. When you talk, if I were to discuss the plot, you'd be like, that's a lot. There's a lot of fucking plot in that movie. But it does move. I'll give it this too. Yeah. For 2.5 hours, this movie, it's like, it feels like Indiana Jones, where it's like, let's go.
Yeah.
So I would try to keep them, like I said, I would keep trying to put good elements, the good aspects of that film. But maybe pull back on some things, because if you just take a few away, a good film becomes an amazing film.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, less was more for me, and that's what I would do with Aquaman.
Yeah.
The fifth film, I would call World's Finest. I would never call it Batman versus Superman or Superman versus Batman. We know that's bull crap. It's like...
No, because we always want to see who'd win, Superman or Batman. We want to see fight. Yeah, it's death battle.
Look,
Superman versus Batman.
As a comic book fan, I've already seen that fact way too many times.
Well, we haven't seen the movies, Josh. We haven't seen the movies. Go see the movie.
I don't know what you're doing.
I am making fun of the plebeians who were excited by that. And by plebeians, I mean your brother. Oh wait, your brother hates that movie. No, your brother hates that movie, and because good man, yeah. No, he hates BVS. He hates BVS.
Okay.
He likes Man of Steel. He likes Justice League. He hates BVS. It's like he's like,
Okay.
He hasn't heard Suicide Squad either.
That makes no sense to me. But anyway, moving on.
The arguments I've had, it was a good movie, Eddie. You don't understand. Those don't make sense to me.
No, but I'm saying that if he's going to like Man of Steel and Justice League as much as he does, then BVS is there.
Yeah.
It's if anything, Justice League. This is why people who liked, but I mean love Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. They didn't like Justice League because it wasn't truly that vision. It wasn't cohesive to what was being created, and it's true. Right. That's what I would give the Snyder Cut. The idea that it feels like the third part of what he created with Man of Steel to Dawn of Justice to this.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it at all,
right.
But it makes sense. Like and that's the thing is, I don't mind getting philosophical and trying to bring Superman down to earth. Because maybe in film we haven't really done that. Like, I mean, but by film I mean movies. Because we've done it in television shows.
We could do. You remember that
Then the
storyline
cartoon.
where Superman did the Walkabout America that Linkara reviewed and he really hated it? We could make a movie like that and have Linkara lose his mind. That'd be funny. I want to see a review. I want to see the vlog review for that, like just him just throwing his hat.
The thing is, I thought that storyline was good, but
Yeah, I totally disagree with him on that. Well, I disagree with Linkara on a lot, but I definitely disagree with him on. I felt like he didn't understand what they were trying to do there.
no, I didn't. I don't have a problem with it, but I didn't agree with that assessment. However, and that's fine, he can have that opinion.
Like, and also a lot of Linkara's opinions that I've had problems with earlier age better. I feel like let's just talk about Channel Awesome and things you don't want to talk about today. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, go ahead. I'm done. I've been bad. I'm sorry.
No, what I'm saying is, the point is that storyline that you brought up works better in a series or miniseries than it does in a movie. It's not good as a movie.
TV show. Like,
Yeah, TV show. For me, it should be World's Finest. This is where we bring in Batman. And the thing is, and it is a lead into Justice League. It's where the setup comes from, where you can have Luthor and his PDF files and know that he's been watching, but we know them. We know them now. We know who Wonder Woman is. We know who Aquaman is. We know...
Don't laugh at me. The way you said PDF. I'm remembering.
The jokes and says, "Oh, there's some other superheroes on YouTube," and it's like, yeah, there's that too, but it's true.
Someone sent him a fax. Someone put it in PDF format. What?
No, it's true.
Because I remember there was like video. PDF's not even a video format. It's like Acrobat Reader. It fucking makes sense.
No, but no, who edited those videos? Do you remember? Because Wonder Woman opens an email from Batman. This is what I found. And it's like Super Aquaman, and they all have logos. They all have their logo already made out for them.
Josh.
The heroes themselves, the heroes themselves don't have these logos, but Luthor did.
LexCorp has a wonderful marketing and video editing department. Okay, they are very professional. They are very professional to stick like candy in other people's mouths and make Granny's peach tea urine bombs and things like that. They're very good at these things. They do a great job.
Here's the thing. Here's my thing with this, because with World's Finest, it's my idea behind it is kind of like, it's kind of Man of Steel 2, but it's really more almost event movie-ish. Mm-hmm. And it helps bridge to get us closer to it. Like, I still like the idea, especially, if Man of Steel does well, and so does Flash, then we can go ahead and do the same thing Marvel did. Last minute end credit scenes. The end credit scenes, in the beginning, were freaking slapdash. They were like, the story goes that end credit scene in Iron Man was done in post-production. Like, it already had us screaming.
Yeah.
It was a good month or so away.
Samuel Jackson was not in this film.
Yeah, he wasn't originally in the film. What happened, they flew his ass in.
Yeah.
Stuck an eye patch on him. They got Robert Downey Jr. Hey, come back real quick. And they went back on the set. That set was being pulled apart. There are parts of that Tony Stark's Malibu house that don't exist. They just make sure not to film them.
Yeah.
Okay, it was behind the camera. And and Whedon was there. Whedon jot down some things for Sam Jackson to say.
Yeah.
That's what that script is. He has uncredited. He's uncredited for writing that.
Now, Sam Jackson did tell him where he was going to wear the eye patch, because it's because this was all Sam Jackson's idea. Let's be honest. Sam Jackson was like, "No, I'm being in this movie. I mean, now Joss Whedon, you better make those lines good. I'm putting the eye patch right here. I have read the Ultimates comics. This is happening." It was like,
well, no, Sam Jackson is a comic book fan, and Sam Jackson did say, because someone interviewed him. This was way back in
the best part is, like, Kevin Feige was about to call him, and he just showed up at his office. Let's do this. It's like, what? Like, I'm a Jedi, motherfucker. I got the message. Let's go.
When Feige he got the call from Feige, and he was like, about time. Because he said years ago in an interview, someone asked him, how do you feel your likeness is in a comic book? And that you get to be Nick Fury? And he says, it's freaking awesome because I love Nick Fury. You probably don't know this, but I actually, grew up on those comics. As for my likeness being the character, I think that's fantastic. I'm just saying that if you're making a Nick Fury film, you're motherfucking calling me. Marvel has my number.
Yeah.
There are people who work there that have my number. I'm not hunting you down. You know where I am. Find me. But don't let me find out you catch somebody else to be me. We'll have a problem. But yeah, you call me and I will say yes, and then we'll get it done.
And of course, famously, David Hasselhoff was the white Nick Fury in the movie that we don't talk about.
But to be fair, that TV movie would predate the Ultimate Comics.
Predate the Ultimate Comics. Predated the MCU. It was back when they really didn't know what they're doing. I don't think it was. That's a movie I put on and never finished, or like I did something in the background and I don't remember it. I need to give that movie another shot. Listen. That's one of those movies that like it's not crap. It's my kind of crap. It's my kind of crap. I love movies like that. I need to watch it again. But then, of course, we had David Hasselhoff in Guardians 2 as Ego and himself.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like it all works out. There's room in the MCU for Sam Jackson and David Hasselhoff.
Well, for me, I think that was the best use of David Hasselhoff because I could not believably see him as a character, honestly.
David Hasselhoff isn't a character. You're not a person. You don't count.
You know what I mean? I could not picture him as a Marvel character because I'm too distracted by the fact that it's David Hasselhoff. Even when I saw that TV movie, I didn't believe him as Nick Fury. It's just David Hasselhoff trying to be gruff and smoke a cigar, and I'm like, okay. And that movie is bad, but that movie is not.
Josh, you will respect David Hasselhoff. He was on Baywatch Nights. You will respect him. You will respect David Hasselhoff. You will respect Knight Rider.
I know full. Look. I do not hassle the Hoff. Okay, I'm saying that
you don't hassle the Hoff. You don't do it.
Hassle the Hoff.
You don't hassle the Hoff.
What I'm trying to say though is that movie, at the end of the day, was just lame. Like the writing was lame.
It was like a TV. It was like a made-for-TV movie, right? It was like a weird. Yeah,
but it wasn't trying. And the funny thing is, you know who was trying? David Hasselhoff.
Damn straight. That's why you will not hassle the Hoff.
Like it's not. Look, I'm not gonna be like, well, that's a great performance, but it was good. In fact, because everyone was so subpar, it was too good. Yeah. It was like everyone, because I think what happened is that David thought this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the beginning of a TV show, and I'm gonna freaking kill this. And everyone else was like, I don't care. This is just going to help pay some student loans, and I'm out. Didn't
that come out the same time as the Man-Thing movie?
No, Man-Thing came late. Dude, Man-Thing came out in 2007. It came out 1 year before Iron Man.
How far we've come, Josh?
No, what happened with Man-Thing was it was like anyone at Marvel who saw Man-Thing come out went, thank God Iron Man's coming.
I mean, I remember in high school.
Like, get it out of our system. The last piece of shit. Get it out. Get it out of our system.
I mean, I remember in high school just like watching X-Men and like Spider-Man with you, and I remember like man, it would be great if they did an Infinity Gauntlet movie, and like we were like, that's never gonna happen. Here we are, Infinity War and Endgame, and
No, I didn't. You're right, because I just didn't believe there was a movie studio that could put aside its differences and let them combine. Because again, at that time, Marvel didn't have a studio backing it. It does now. It's called Disney.
It's like Joe Biden says, nothing's impossible in America, Josh. We're good to go.
No, I agree, but I just at the time it was. But that's what makes this so great, is because it was that thing that even movie or industry historians was like, this can't be happening. It's like, does anyone really understand how hard this is?
Yeah.
and how much of an achievement it is just to get a decent product out of this. Because this is a lot that's happening to make these films. It's not just a movie. It's a giant organism of movies that have to work. They have to work. It's especially at this point in time, they're creating a Jenga tower.
Yeah.
The only good thing is that they're not just making the tower; they have the supports built on the sides of it.
Yeah. Don't actually play Jenga. Don't actually play Jenga with that tower. Because Jenga only ends one way.
No, because in real Jenga it will fall apart. But I'm saying like the way it's built is that at first it's just a whole bunch of interconnected pieces. But once it got to phase 3, you got Feige said, okay, we're going to put some support beams on the foundation, and we're going to keep, there's like, but that's not how you play Jenga, bitch. That's how I play Jenga. This tower's not going anywhere. We're not pulling on these pieces.
Kevin Feige does not understand Jenga.
No, he's like, we're super gluing every single piece and putting it on top of one another.
Okay, are you saying that, like, Kevin Feige is Will Ferrell's character from the Lego movie just playing Jenga? Son, you don't understand. If we don't super glue it, it's going to fall apart. Dad, that's the point of the game.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think it'd be better if the tower stayed like this.
So finishing off my phase 1 rant thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that, here's the thing. The reason I organized it this way, I did it in this order because I said, you know what? I decided, let me think how would it go if I started with Man of Steel. And Superman didn't need a reboot. But you know what we didn't want to see or didn't need to see?
Yeah.
Even if we didn't reboot him, is we didn't need another Batman movie. Yeah. We could get one later. That's the whole point. It's like, let's introduce Batman, let's have him exist. I don't know if I want to do I wasn't too crazy about the Dark Knight Returns aspect of it, to be honest with you. I know what they were trying to do. But I was thinking that's a little too much. We can pull back. We can still make him distrusting of him and everything. And here's the thing too. The reason I wanted to be Brainiac as the villain was because by the time Man of Steel is done, my version of it, there is a bit of mistrust of aliens.
Yeah.
Because what happened was it's Luthor had to do a lot of PR control because Luthor was trying to make first contact. It's publicly known that Earth was making first contact with this being who then tried to shrink the city and destroy the planet.
Yeah. In
the process, because Luthor didn't want it to be one-upped by anybody else, when he discovers that Superman is an alien, he ends up having a recording of Brainiac and Superman having a conversation talking about Krypton. And so he tries to play it off into the media, very much like how Mysterio doctored the footage and said, "Oh, it's Spider-Man that killed the people in London and did all this stuff." Mm-hmm. It's that kind of thing. Right? Luthor later plays it that Superman was part of it, or he's another kind of alien conqueror, and the mistrust that people have, the xenophobia, spills into World's Finest.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of it. Is now he's trying to gain trust. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, but the problem is people now have this stigma towards aliens.
Yeah,
and obviously that's a metaphor, but the point is that's kind of the thing. And Batman is
that's not a problem our planet actually has.
No, not at all. Foreigners? What? But Batman is that. To me, Batman plays on that because he's always been a paranoid person.
Yeah.
So he's trying to figure out but he also doesn't trust Lex Luthor.
Right.
Meeting him in real life as Bruce Wayne, he can smell or see the slime on him, and he's like, okay, I need the truth. I need to know what really happened. So that's him trying to hack into Luthor's things and this and that. But along the way, he ends up bumping into Superman.
Right.
And he has his own issue, like, I work alone, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And he's like, come on, let's be friends. Yeah. And he's like, screw you. And the problem is they start to eventually, get along, and Luthor's like, okay, they're onto something. This needs to stop.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the movie, I like the idea of the two physical villains. I wanted to use a Superman villain who I don't think can hold a movie, but I want to see fight Superman.
Yeah.
And that's Metallic.
Yeah.
And I also want a physical villain that is technically a Batman villain, but works in the world of Superman. And this one...
Let me see if I can guess who it is.
All right, go ahead.
Does his name start with an R?
No.
I was gonna say, does his name end with Agul, but I guess I know where you're going with this. So no.
This character is obscure as hell.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Dr. Phosphorus.
I should know who this character is, but I can't remember. I can't remember who Dr. Phosphorus is.
Dr. Phosphorus was not a very long-lived villain. I think he might have died and then got rebooted later.
Okay.
But essentially, he's someone who, oh no, science happens to him. And you know what? I'll make it easier for you. You remember Batman Beyond, and you remember Blight.
Right.
That's Dr. Phosphorus.
Radiation powers.
Pretty much. It's that's again the phosphorus. He's a skeleton man on fire.
Yeah.
It's translucent. It's that same thing, but he was a scientist as opposed to a wealthy businessman like
right. A wealthy businessman that got hit with his own biological weapon and needed extreme radiation to survive it and got mutated.
Yeah, they essentially, the writers of that show essentially made their own Dr. Phosphorus by combining him with a little bit of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And he was cool. But for here, I kind of want to throw a villain. I mean, I've been
rewatching Pirates of Darkwater, and in that they had a villain also called the Blight, which, 30 years later is not as cool as Blight from Batman Beyond, but still, the Blight. The Blight!
For me, I kind of like the idea that there is... Okay, so I'm not 100% sure what to do here, because there's two ideas I kind of like. There was... The animated series did with Metallo was make him like this international... They made him
They made him Malcolm McDowell, Josh, is what they made him.
Yeah. And he's cool and suave and handsome, and then he gets poisoned by Luthor because Luthor is essentially trying to use him to be the experiment with the Metallo.
Right.
And he discovers it out later. But in the comics, and yeah, this is from the New 52, but I actually did like this. Instead, John Corbin is not an international arms dealer or whatever. He's like a lieutenant or sergeant in the military. He works under Sergeant Lane.
Yeah.
Lois is who's in the military, who has been brought up.
Is this the classic comics or is this the newer, like, New 52 stuff?
This is more modern because in the classic, because he was just a criminal.
Yeah.
He was like a thug, and even his metallic form was not. It was very cybernetic. Like he had these big like green and orange pieces on him, like that cool Terminator 2 skateboard thing that we see in the cartoon and the Superman series. No, that comes much later.
Yeah.
That comes from like John Burns' reboot of the character.
So he was basically like a Spider-Man villain. Like, I want to rob banks. I just want to rob banks.
That's what it is. And like John Byrne reimagined him, and he was basically a criminal who agreed to this experiment to become Metallo. But I think it would be pretty cool if we do take a good thing for the New 52. We introduce Stan Lane, we could even show him in the first one. And have him as that military guy that does not trust Superman, does not trust the alien thing. He thinks he's like Brainiac 2, that he's coming with promises or whatever, and that he's going to, show his real hand. And I want Metallo, I want John Corbin to be that guy too, to be like, meet this dude and whatever. And Luthor offers him a chance to really give it to him. And he ends up becoming he cyberizes him and he becomes Metallo. This movie does introduce us kryptonite and focus on it, and I think experimenting with kryptonite is what accidentally causes Dr. Phosphorus to exist. And I want to combine those characters and origins. So I changed some things to put them together and stuff, but I basically want it to be where Batman is trying to solve the truth about Brainiac and Superman, and he's trying to have proof of Luthor. And along the way, they're getting too close to the truth. They're having actual evidence, and then that's where Metallo and Phosphorus come in, and they fight them. And at the end, there's no connection to Luthor because he cleaned his tracks.
Yeah.
So he leaves John Corbin and the guy who's Dr. Phosphorus. He leaves them twisting in the wind.
Yeah.
Yet again. But along the way, the thing is, I want to drop Easter eggs throughout the movies that build up to something that's coming. The idea that certain people are missing, or certain people doing strange things, like they're forming groups and such. And there's someone that's investigating. There is a detective who can shapeshift, who's investigating this.
Yeah.
And I want him to be Martian Manhunter. And no, I don't want him to be Martha.
You don't.
There's no reason for. I don't want him to be Martha. I don't want Martha.
You don't want to be Martha.
Yeah, I don't want him to go. Where did you say that name?
Martha, where'd you say that name?
I don't
want Martha. It's Martian.
And Martha Manhunter. So,
oh my God! That's why he did it. That's why he was just. Martha. Oh my God! It's so dumb.
It is. It's so stupid. It is.
It's fucking stupid.
It's Martha Manhunter.
Martha Manhunter.
No. But you know what? In that movie, in the Snyder cut, he is Martha Manhunter because he poses as Martha Kent, and he's hunting for men. He's hunting for Superman and Batman.
Hot.
So stupid. Stupid. It's lazy too because
Let me tell you why they call me the Manhunter.
No, what pissed me off about that concept was because he could have just not had the guy in there, but no.
I think you made an old joke about like Green Lantern back in the day. It's like no man escapes the Manhunters.
No man escapes the Manhunters.
We had to retire the Manhunters and start the Green Lantern Corps because the Manhunters kept having gay sex. They just didn't do any work. They just kept blowing each other.
Every day was a Miami Beach party. I'm not going to argue with someone giving me constant margarita shooters, but no work was getting done.
I've got to say though, we were a little bit back in the day. We Guardians, we were just really high all the time. We just kind of rolled with it. In fact, that's why Krona rebelled and went off on his own. He was sick of our shit.
Yeah, no, Krona busted in one day and said, "Enough is enough. Not every day is a Friday."
Which brings us back to Rebecca Black. Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. 10-year anniversary. Josh, it's so good. First of all, she's so hot. She's got Dorian Electra on it. She's got Big Frida. 303's in it. Remember 303 and how they sucked? They're not as bad anymore. They're kind of okay.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good, Josh.
God. I think I'll try it. Okay, I'll see it later.
All right.
But anyway,
I mean, the video with Rebecca Black does make me Diamond Cock.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really hot now. I'm just saying.
This is taking forever. Let me get to the end. The end is obviously just.
We have Yellowstone to talk about.
Yeah. The end is obviously Justice League.
Yeah.
But again, for me, the Justice League is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, not Cyborg. And I think they can this is the moment to bring in Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I think the movie should believe it or not, I think the movie should have, the heart of it should be Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern. The story of them. You could actually play on the fact that Green Lantern's story already happened, that it is Hal Jordan. We can pull an Incredible Hulk, because Incredible Hulk was like a soft reboot. When you look at the first few minutes, be honest, when you look at the first few minutes, the opening credits, you notice that the opening credits is almost like a retelling of the Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk series. Yeah. He gets the gamma radiation into him and stuff, instead of bomb. But also, think of that plot. In that moment, when the credits are rolling, what are we seeing? Without any words, we're seeing scientist Dr. Banner is working with the government to create this project that involves gamma radiation to augment humans. He experiments on himself.
Super soldier serum.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I'm just saying, just in that moment, we don't know that yet.
But in that moment, it's like a certain movie made by a famous director who did a movie about crouching tigers and dragons that are hidden, that happens to have gamma-rated poodles in it, which is completely underappreciated, because no gamma poodle, no thank you, Ang Lee's Hulk for the win. Shrek Hulk, best Hulk. I love you, Mark Ruffalo, but Eric Bana, that's my heart right there. That's my heart, Eric Bana.
But seriously though, it's the same. It's basically the plot. It's the experiment happens. He turns into Hulk. He accidentally hurts Betty. That makes Joan Ross say, "Oh, kill it."
You know what's also great about the Ang Lee's Hulk movie, Josh, is you got Nick Nolte biting a power cord. That wasn't in the script. They just filmed it.
Where does that Ang Lee Hulk movie end?
Ends in South America. I'm not sure exactly where. And more or less where we find him in
South America.
In South America, yeah.
Where does the Incredible Hulk begin?
South America. I feel really shitty that I don't know exactly what country like both of them ended in, but it's like I don't.
I don't remember. I think it was like Peru or something in the Ang Lee Hulk, but in Incredible Hulk is Brazil. But that's not the point. It's still South America. The point is, in a very brilliant way, they redid their version, but at the same time, they technically just told the plot of the original, all in just the credits.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, it's like, this is kind of canon, you know this story. Okay, let's keep going.
When are we going to get the leader in the MCU? Because, like, yeah, in the Edward Norton Hulk, we had the leader, and then we never got... I want the leader. Damn it.
Okay, I can't confirm this.
Yeah.
But I do believe that we will see him in a different way. Like, one of the many Disney Plus Marvel shows that is coming is She-Hulk.
Oh, nice.
In She-Hulk, Mark Ruffalo as Banner / Hulk will return.
Nice. But we're just calling it She-Hulk because Universal and dumb things and lawyers.
I know. I mean, it's a good excuse to create the character, though, of She-Hulk. And to introduce her and everything.
Yeah, I want my Jessica Walters.
But if you know anything about her origin, it's tied to Bruce Banner. I mean,
She-Hulk's name is Jessica Walters, right?
Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer. I confused her with Lucille from Arrested Development.
Yes, you did.
What if she's the She-Hulk?
No. They already cast somebody. I just don't remember her name. But
the Hulk's fighting Abomination. They knock over a food stand. That's how you get ants.
But there's rumors. There's rumors about who is going to be in the cast and who will be a villain in it and so forth. And I think it's not confirmed yet, but I think they might be bringing back the actor who played the leader to be the leader in that show.
Yeah, that man deserves some work. And for that matter, the guy that was playing Connors in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies deserves to be the Lizard. That poor son of a bitch never got a chance to be the Lizard. It pisses me off.
He's like, oh, I can't wait. One day I'm gonna be the Lizard, and then they're like, no.
And then they got creepy poor man's Bill Nighy instead.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm a lizard?
So anyway, finally, here's the thing with me, Justice League. What I wanted to title up. Okay, look. So this villain he's not as well known, and it's also weird and could be considered stupid by people because it's very Silver Age. And it is similar to Marvel in that this villain does not really matter. Because it just wants to come through. And for me, the villain of Justice League is Starkiller. I think it's
that'd be fun.
I just didn't want to. I didn't want to copy the White Martians again, but I do feel like an invasion would be cool. It's too soon for Darkseid.
Right.
Darkseid's their Thanos.
Have a bunch of like humanoid villains. Maybe some human, maybe some aliens that are like looming in the background, like it looks like Earth is defended. And that builds up to Darkseid, but then have this very Lovecraftian sort of alien menace that is very weird and fun.
What we could do is we could tie to the fact that how did Starro get to Earth so soon or whatever? Could be some of the Starro children were left there by people of Darkseid. Like, you know what I like to drop hints on? And I could do it in Man of Steel, but also World's Finest, is the introduction of Intergang.
Yeah.
And Intergang is that organization that is funded by Darkseid.
Have Starro be the main villain of the movie, but have a bunch of little sub-villains here and there that also are causing problems. So, like, Intergangers are the one that bring it in. Maybe have,
exactly. Imagine if the because what I wanted to do in the post-credit scenes is to have several people who are being manipulated, who have a Starro on the back of them somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're doing things, and that's where that little group and these little cults start forming. Yeah. And I think it'd be kind of cool if it was brought in by Intergang.
Yeah.
At the request of someone whose name will not be known yet, but he could or could not have a smiley, scene where he's or eyes flickering or something like. It's Darkseid. Okay. The point is, he should not be like. It's good to have him hinted at and build him to be something that they deal with much later.
Wait, who is your villain that you're using for this?
No, I said that they should have that winking nod. Like they did with Thanos.
Winking nod to Thanos, basically. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Do with Darkseid.
Because you basically like you could have like someone like Luthor, or the Joker maybe involved in the background, like hinted at, or like Luthor's like funding Intergang but never gets physical and just is just.
You know what would be cool?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't even have to have Luthor in the movie itself. You could have his name mentioned though. But I think what would be kind of cool is because it's Starro, which means you have to have people who are controlled.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to have just a bunch of mindless people like, oh shit, we can't punch humans.
Right.
Or whatever. But wouldn't it be dope if it attached to some of the heroes? Or what if it attached to some villains? Like, for example, what if I actually was able to get Captain Cold to sign a contract?
Yeah.
And have him mind control, like some Flash villain or an Aquaman or something like that, and have them get caught up in this mix.
Yeah.
And they get away when the Starro thing gets killed or whatever.
Maybe like get one of them, like maybe like Captain Cold gets all the other rogues like assimilated, and then he's the first one to lose it, and the Starro invasion is on. It's too big. And it's like all right, look, and it's like listen, Flash, I don't like you, but I want my boys out of this thing. I'll help and like have the bad guys help them out in order to fend off this bigger threat.
No, it'd be really, really dope to have that in there. What if they team up? They team for that one moment, and then they run away, and Flash decides not to put them in jail for that reason.
Yeah, and I flashed against my nasty feet once again. But I did so because I wanted to go back to the Flash movie you were talking about earlier. My one note on the Flash movie is that at some point during the soundtrack, I want the Ballad of Barry Allen by Jim's Big Hero. I would like maybe the ending credits or like at some point. Because that song is dope.
That should be the end credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the song too. I really do. But that's it. I'm done. That's pretty much my phase one will be. Phase 2 is where you start to add other things. Phase 2 is where you give me Suicide Squad.
I would also add Phase 2 is where we get Titans. And then you can have Cyborg. And then you can have like Starfire and things like that.
Because here's the thing, because I get it. I understand. I understand why Cyborg has been put into the comics as a member of the Justice League. I have no problem with him being a member of the Justice League. I have a problem with him being a founding member of the Justice League,
right?
Especially if we're keeping his origin basically the same, where he's a high schooler.
Yeah,
that's what bothers me because I'm like. So you're saying that the Justice League has no problem with a teenager being a member of their team,
running around risking their life? It's like, yeah,
I don't care about they're okay with this, and the Justice League has never been okay with this, which is why they clashed with the Titans.
I mean, the reason why Cyborg works as a Justice League member is the same reason why any one of the Titans works as a Justice League member, is because they have proven themselves and have worked their way up, and he just so happened to be on the team at the time when the New 52 happened. And that's the only reason why he's there to begin with. But you're missing that whole story of them being Titans and growing, being the teenage heroes that grow up and become rolling with the adults. You're missing all that good stuff by doing that.
You're missing that, but you're also kind of pointing to the fact that a good chunk of the reason he's there from the very beginning is because of the diversity.
Yeah.
It's the idea that
when Justice League Unlimited covered this very, very easily by just having Jon Stewart being the Green Lantern that they picked instead of Hal Jordan. And it works, and Jon Stewart's awesome, so, I mean,
And the thing is, for me, I like the idea of. I mean, we could do Justice, but I don't think we would have been able.
Well, like, how come they have to do that, but we don't do that in the Avengers? It's like.
But hold on. See, what I was coming up with, I wasn't trying to make a 4-hour Justice League movie.
Yeah.
So for me, I like the idea of Hal Jordan, but doing kind of a soft reboot and explaining who he is. But also, it's in other words, having that movie not really be canon, but take advantage of the fact that people know about it.
Right.
And just put the things that work about it.
Yeah.
Ignore Parallax and a lot of the nonsense. Just keep the good stuff for now and build him as a character we can like. Because it'd be really cool if, like, Superman, Wonder Woman had the star on them. And that's when Hal Jordan and Martian Manhunter shine.
Yeah.
To help
see how good these heroes are, because they're taking on these two titans that are, like, are the most powerful. Like, So you can have that scene that everybody pointed out, and actually is one of the better scenes in the Snyder Cut, of Superman just fighting the League, where Superman's evil because I don't know why.
Because he can have a damn starfish scroll down. This was done in the cartoons, and then he's blasting the hell out of them with the heat vision and the freeze breath and the whole something. You can do all that.
Yeah.
But it's with the creature, and it's connected to what's going on.
And we've done this in the Avengers too. Age of Ultron. Well, both Avengers movies, the first two Avengers movies, Avengers and Age of Ultron, the Hulk rages out at certain points. So it's like we have Hulk chasing Black Widow through the helicarrier because of Loki's influence in the first movie. And then later on, Scarlet Witch, does her razzle-dazzle on him later on. And we bring out the Hulkbuster. It's like we've done this. It's like you can do heroes versus heroes. You can do it right.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
If they had done this soon enough, there wouldn't be so much copy and paste. There wouldn't be as much criticism of, they're copying this and that. No, because you actually would have been making them. And you would actually have people questioning who came first. Was it Justice League or Avengers Age of Ultron coming up with the idea? But you got to get out there.
Yeah.
And start making these movies. And that was the problem. They took too long to make multiple, because they were only making one. Green Lantern, and then Man of Steel, and it was like they weren't planning on two at a time.
Yeah,
Marvel was.
They didn't do their homework. They didn't do the work. It's really what it boils down to.
Marvel did Iron Man and Hulk at the same time. Technically speaking, both of them could have been flourished.
Right.
But they both worked. And even though the Hulk was lukewarm, especially compared to Iron Man, that's the thing. In my personal opinion, I think it's more that you're comparing it to Iron Man. It's a good film. It does have problems. There's certain things I would tweak and tighten. But
The Incredible Hulk is one of those movies where people hate on, where I don't get it, because it's like, I fucking liked it. But maybe, again, Hulk is so big, I love you. It's me. Bias.
I think a big chunk, especially back in the day, a big reason for why people didn't like it is because Iron Man came out a few months before. And it was like, it wasn't as good as Iron Man. And I admit, no, it wasn't as good as Iron Man.
Yeah.
But
it was still good. It was still the Hulk being awesome. You still had Brendan Roth as an abomination. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, there's talk of him coming back and shit.
Damn straight. Damn fucking straight.
They're talking about signing what's his name? Tim Roth.
Tim Roth. I called him Brendan. Why did I call him Brendan Roth?
Because I talked about him earlier as Superman. Superman Returns.
Yeah.
So
too many Roths.
The cool thing, not to get too off. I mean, I'm done with the Justice League thing, but not to get too off topic. But I think it was kind of cool that for the CW Arrowverse or whatever, when they did their Crisis on Infinite Earths,
right?
And Brandon Routh was cast in their shows as the Atom.
Yeah.
As Ray Palmer. Mm-hmm. But when they decided, okay, we're going to try as hard as we can. This was tough, man. But they tried to get as many people from the different TV shows or whatever to cameo.
Yeah.
For me, the different groups and stuff. At one point, they traveled. Oh, man, I forgot the name. I think it's Earth 97 or something. Oh, no, it's something. It's some number. I forget what it is. But basically what it is, it's supposed to be the Earth of Brandon Routh's Superman.
Nice.
But it's further down the line. Now, he's got, like, gray in his temples, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in his timeline, something happened where Lois actually died.
Yeah.
and he's in charge of the Daily Planet, but he's not. He's a little more sullen.
Yeah.
And his costume, basically, it's the Kingdom Come Superman.
Nice.
When he changes, his costume is Kingdom Come, even with the hair. And so the black is supposed to be in memoriam to the woman he lost and everything.
Yeah.
And he is, and it was so dope to see him go on against the CW Superman that they had, and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They had him in the show. It was they took advantage of the funny moment of saying, "Ray, why does the Atom look like Superman?"
Nice.
They joked they had himself side by side.
It's the '87 Turtles meeting the 2012 Turtles all over again. Why do Raph and Donnie sound the same?
It was cool, dude. It was so cool. And what was fun, another nice thing that they did was when they defeated the Anti-Monitor and they redid time or whatever, all the last remaining Earths fused into one, much like the comic. The multiverse ended up restarting though. Mm-hmm. Most of the characters don't know this, but the multiverse actually restarted again. And the Earth that had Brandon Routh as Superman, that Kingdom Come Superman, mm-hmm. He's there. His little facility.
Josh, Davis is calling me. Hold on just a moment. You are interrupting a podcast, sir. Davis? Davis, where'd you go?
How are you?
You were interrupting a podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're shooting a podcast.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
2 minutes.
How do you feel about, what were we talking about, Josh? We were talking about, Brendan Roth Superman meeting the CW Superman. How do you feel about Brendan Roth Superman fighting the CW Superman, Davis?
Oh, God.
I don't know how to feel because I'm uneducated in these areas.
Why are you on it? Why you need to watch more comic book shit?
Okay, leave him alone.
You and your no, I still haven't forgiven him for the Tank Girl anime. I'm still mad at you, but not really.
Alright.
Well, forgive me and don't give me shit because I had wisdom teeth pulled this week.
Oh, you okay?
I'm sorry.
The swelling is going down finally. I had them pulled Saturday.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
okay, I'm glad the
I'm
swelling.
finally able to eat food again.
You can eat food again? Okay, that's good. Alright, well I hope you feel better. But yeah, okay, Josh, you're not gonna be playing tonight, right?
No, I gotta head off.
Okay. Yeah, dude. We're almost done here. Yeah. We're talking a few more comic book things. Can I call you back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll call you back when I'm done here.
Bye.
All right, see you, man. Bye. Oh, we got podcast bombed. We got podcast bombed by Davis.
You're an idiot.
Davis is, oh my God, Davis is our William Shatner.
Okay. I'm gonna pretend I know what that means.
William Shatner photobombs people.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he's like people are at a convention. Oh, look, we're having fun. He just shows up. Hey, what's up?
Oh, okay.
Or how George Lucas like photobombs random documentaries. People are walking down talking about like fast food, and just George Lucas is walking down the street. I'm going into a bank. How's it going? He's just there. He's just didn't intend to be there. He just walks in. It's like, hi, George. Oh, hi! I didn't even know there was a camera. Bye.
That's why he bombed it, because he knows there's a camera. He's trying to get his face on camera as much as possible.
Yeah.
And they're basically like, George Lucas? Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just passing by. Hey, don't go make another change in the Blu-ray. Stop it.
You know, I was thinking about it, but I don't know.
All right.
We had a point, didn't we?
Right? We did. I'm finished with my topics. Honestly, I was just talking on tangent of the fact that it was cool how they turned the branding up. Overall, Superman, his Earth changes to being back to where he has a classic symbol from the movie again.
Yeah.
And that's the classic flying. It's an homage to the Christopher Reeve Superman, basically. It's like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
He got it at the ending. So that's all I was gonna try to say until we got podcast bombed. I do need to
Davis
go.
Just devastated us. We got nothing now.
I do need to go. We can talk about Guns Akimbo some other time. I know that you will not. I know you will not end this without.
So this is gonna be a thing until I decide to stop doing it. Okay, so I'm actually gonna get the episode guide out real quick if I can find it. This is okay. So for starters, the episode I was talking about where all the shit went down, where it's in our. It's not my first time I've done a Dread Pirate podcast, but the first time we started doing this was actually episode 6, not episode 5. It was called The Remembering. And now I would like to talk briefly about A Monster Among Us. I don't have very long to go in here. This is episode 7. So just a couple key things I want to point out is that, so it felt like, first of all, this was taking a break from the kind of nonstop nonsense that is Yellowstone Season 1. But there's a scene in the beginning that I actually really liked, starring your favorite person in the world, Kevin Costner, where we have another random encounter. First of all, the fucking bear is back. The bear that has been that appeared in that episode just keeps fucking showing up. And this is partially because of something I figured out. I figured out a list. I compiled a list of Kevin Costner's greatest enemies in this show, and the bear is one of them. But the bear's there, and it's out in one of his fields, and he's driving by, and there's a tour bus full of Chinese or Asian tourists that are just there on his property, and they're going out, and they're like 30 feet away from a bear who's like digging in the ground, like, ooh, a bear, fascinating. And so he goes out there with a gun, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? There's a bear. It's a bear. And it's like, oh, it looks friendly to us. And it's just like, okay, look, get away. That thing's gonna kill you. It's a bear. And then he's like, well, we'll think about leaving. And then he's like, okay, you know what? This is my territory. This is my property. All this, that, mountain, everything's mine. He starts waving his badge around because he's the head of the cattle commission. And then some Chinese guy starts saying something, and then the woman translates for him. And he doesn't believe you. He thinks like no man should be able to own this much. And then finally, Kevin Costner's had enough of this shit and starts firing his gun in the air, and they all run in the bus and drive away. And the bear, oddly enough, doesn't do shit. The bear's just kind of like, I'm trying to dig, dude. Like, really? I'm trying to dig. There might be some, like, nuggets stuff down there. It's like, come on. I like the scene. Now, first of all, I hated everyone in it. Because everyone in the scene is an asshole. Because John Dutton is still an asshole. The tourists are assholes. I hate everyone. I hate everyone in this scene. But I felt like the show was telling me you're supposed to hate everyone. And I felt like it was like about something. It was like this is the message of this episode, and the show overall is like, should someone like John Dutton be allowed to exist? Should we have uncontrolled capitalism where a person can just buy land and own so much and then hide onto it like a freaking titan with an iron fist? At the same time, it was like, but at also the same time, it was like, yeah, but you know what? This is his property, and these people are blatantly trespassing, and they're kind of being assholes about it, and they're fucking stupid because bear. It's like I liked it. Because it was like, it was very, I disagreed with everybody in the scene, and I thought everybody was an asshole, but at the same time I felt like the issues were being presented for me, and I just want to say, good opening scene. And beyond that, I don't have too much to talk about. Other than a couple things. This is an episode where it feels like they're trying to make me appreciate Beth a little bit more. After being floored by her father and told off by her father, she starts the episode. The first time we see her, she's lying on her bed, staring up at the ceiling, miserable, depressed, and unhappy. And I was like, oh, did someone tell a bitch off? Did someone finally get put in her place? Oh, poor baby. So it's like, yes, because this woman's been such a cunt, like, the entire freaking show up into this point. And then we have this flashback scene, which I learned about on Reddit, which was kind of infamous and I was kind of warned about. Where it go back to Christmas time, way back she was a kid, and she had her period for the first time, and she freaked out about it. And Evelyn Dutton, her mom, who we've only seen once before, where she died and kind of blamed it on Beth and made Beth a horrible person. Not a good introduction to that character, by the way. She has a moment with her, and she runs her a bath, and she tells pre-Kevin Costner, give us a few, open the presents without us. And there's a nice scene where she talks about how, like, you know, things are going to be different now. Men are going to look at you different. Boys are going to look at you different. And she kind of gives her this, like the speech about how, like, you have to be tough. You have to be strong because no one is going to believe you're strong. You have to be like a man. You have to be like a man. And basically, this is this woman kind of meaning well, warping her daughter's perspective and kind of creating a monster, essentially, later on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard a lot of chatter on this on Reddit that kind of agree that Evelyn Dutton is not a good mom, especially given that, like, when she gets the horse knocked on her, she basically, it was her fault. You're the reason I'm dead, bitch. It's just like, yeah, no, dude. The first time I met this character, no, dude, I forget which episode that is. Hold on, let me consult my guide. I think that's No Good Horses. I think that's No Good Horses. But we get, like, a flashback of Evelyn Dutton dying, which adds to my clearance that everyone in this fucking show is horrible. There's another good scene with Wes Bentley. Wes Bentley's talking with his campaign manager who's got the hots for him, and there's a scene which perplexes me where it's like, she worked on Obama's campaign, and she's all like, this is great, we're affecting policy, and we're making the world a better place, and it's like, idealism. It's just rating off her, and he's kind of like, hey, look, I'm not an idealistic. I'm about taking care of my family and keeping things practical. I'm the status quo. That's who I am. It's like, that's the most idealistic thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And it's like, I think where they're going... Yeah.
It was honest.
Yeah. I think what they're going for there is she just really wants to fuck him. I think that's what's going on. She just really wants that. She really wants the contract of San Verganza, if you know what I mean. She really wants that Blackheart dick. So... But I don't know. There's a lot of character building scenes. Things were kind of, like, mellower than everything else. The thing that, like, there's a lot of good character scenes. We see Beth in modern time. Beth goes out and she tries to ride a horse. And she's like, ride, you stupid horse, ride, boom, and she gets getting tossed off the horse left and right. Then we have a character that was introduced in episode 5, I think, called Walker, who is a prisoner because that's what they do. They get criminals who have no future and brand them. And it's like, you work here forever, but you're part of our little cult, and we take care of each other. That's how his little mafia works. And he comes out and talks to her, and he has a nice scene with her where, I'm killing you with this, I'm sorry. I can see it. He has a nice scene with her where he talks about how, like, you know, he kind of, it's kind of sexy. He's like, he feels up, he grabs her real tight, like, how do you feel? I feel like I'm in danger. I feel like you're going to pull something on me. And it's just like, now how do you feel? He eases up. It's like more comfortable and whatnot. It's like, you see, the horse can feel that. A horse can feel a fly on its back. So any kind of tension you've got, any kind of anger you've got, that horse can feel that. If he feels like you're trying to fight you, he's going to fight you back. You just got to be calm. So it's like the first time this character is dealing with all of her damage. It's the first time she's just letting all that negativity go. And I get why people like Kelly Riley. I get why they're feeling for this character. And maybe because she made me hate her so much for the first 7 episodes is like the impact this character has left. And it's like, so, I'm still not in love with the character, but I just gotta say bravo. It's like, this is a better, well-acted episode. The characters that pissed me off this time actually would be Batman. Batman, once again, I have lost all sympathy for, because... So, Batman and actually Grandpa-in-law, Native American Grandpa-in-law, they're in the hospital after she collapsed in the previous episode, and he's watching his wife in recovery, and he's all angry, and meanwhile the kid is being watched over by a nurse, and the nurse is like showing him drawings. Isn't this cool? Isn't this neat? And she's like, I want to see my mom. And it's like, and she kind of tries to deflect. Oh, look, isn't this a really cool thing? I want to see my mom. I can't show your mom right now. Bah! The kid like smacks her in the face. So, because, Josh, it had been 10 minutes without a random encounter. And I'm running the show. So, random encounter with a nurse. So, she smacks the nurse in the face, and the nurse is like, ah! And like, okay, so at this point, again, nothing against the child actor. The child actor is doing nothing wrong. The child actor is doing his job. God bless him. Mm-hmm. I want to slap this kid. This kid's a little turd. And he's been really annoying up to this point. I'm like, oh, fuck you. So, like, a bunch of the male nurses come in and try to restrain him. And he's getting really, really violent because they've never fucking disciplined this kid. So he's acting like a little asshole. So they have to wind up holding him on the ground. So fucking Batman rolls out up here. And after shooting people and killing rapists and doing all sorts of dumb shit, guess who picks a fight with a bunch of doctors? Batman. Casey starts fighting people, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Casey and Tate, fuck you both. Fuck you both. You're both little assholes. I'm done. You can go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. You're making the whole situation worse. And the doctor tells him to get out of there. So, like, Casey gets my scorn for this episode. She's been dominating my hatred for much of this show for a long time. But today, Batman, you pissed me off. So it turns out, now, the best scene is the villains. And this is what bothers me about the show, is that the villains... I love the villains, because the villains are Dan Jenkins, or Stryker from X-Men Origins Wolverine, and Thomas Rainwater, the Native American chief, and the people I'm not supposed to like, but this guy's an asshole. Also, he's Kevin Costner, and he's boring. And so it's like, and they're like, Thomas Rainwater's like, listen, I'm gonna work with you, this may not be the best deal, but this is hurting your business, what this person is doing is hurt my people, I want this land, and we'll work something out. I want it. They're like a campaign. It's like Kevin Costner is playing the most boring incarnation of Thanos I've ever seen in my life. And like Thomas Rainwater and Stryker are the Avengers.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah. What?
No, I get it. You mean it's Kevin Costner playing Thanos?
Yes. Exactly.
Because it's Kevin Costner.
It's all about balance.
Boring as hell.
See, son, it's all about balance. That's what it's about. But instead of Gamora, it's Tate. It's all about balance, son. That's what it's all about. Oh, they kill him yet? Okay.
I am inevitable.
What?
I am inevitable. You'll fear me.
So anyway, I'm rooting for them.
Gamora, I love you.
There's a bunch of Dan Jenkins has.
I can't picture that. Sorry, picturing him as Thanos. It just. Goodbye, Gamora. I love you.
I don't think any Infinity War would have quite the same impact, sir.
No shit.
Anyway, but he's got this legal expert lady that helps him out. That's really good. There's the villains are like the best part. I root for them so hard. After that, okay. So John Dutton's Kevin Costner's enemies in this thing. At this point I have a nice list of enemies for him. We have Stryker from X-Men Origins Wolverine, who plays Dan Jenkins, the business guy. We have Thomas Rainwater in the Native American tribe. We have the government, who's eyeing him, and he is doing illegal shit. And he kind of is starting to burn bridges with them. It turns out the reason there's the bear keeps on showing up on his property is because when he diverted the river in order to fuck with Stryker, that fucked up the fishing route of this fish that the bear eats. Okay. So the bear's been wandering into his territory. So bears are one of his enemies. He has cancer in this. He has colon cancer or something like that, which is a big subplot with him. And it's by the way, again, I love Kevin Costner.
Oh. What? I just discovered that there's 9 episodes in season 1, so you're almost done with season 1.
I'm almost done with season 1. Yeah, I got 2 more episodes. I got
you need to watch that show. It's a 2-parter now. Episodes 8 and 9 are a 2-parter.
I'm gonna watch it after the game.
You got me looking this up on Amazon Prime because I was wondering, is this piece of shit on Prime?
I'm gonna make.
Should I subject myself to this just so I can talk about this crap?
I want to make sure that 10 years from now, Josh, we're talking about the show like it's the greatest show of all time, and not anything. It may grow to great heights in the following seasons, but no, I want us to talk about this season like it's the best thing we've ever seen. So
the only good thing is that each season is short.
What's that?
The only good thing I know right now is that each season is short because the next 2 seasons are 10 episodes apiece.
Well, so is this one. This one's 9 episodes.
Yeah, I was saying it's one of those shows where it's we need to compete, with the HBO shows that are 8, maybe 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's like Cobra Kai,
and they're so good, and it's but your show's not.
But it's not.
It's not.
All right, I'm almost done. So he's sick and tired of the so cancer is one of his enemies, and of course I would argue his own acting is one of his enemies. And again, I love Kevin Costner, in a way that I don't think look, just shut up, Josh. Just shut up. We know you're right. Shut the fuck. I don't care. This man was the Mariner. This man was the Postman, and I love those films, and I love this man in this movie, in these films. But man, oh man. I felt more for the cancer subplot when Walter White was doing it, when Bryan Cranston was doing it, not so much when he's doing it. And that's all I'm going to say. And finally, so he's sick and tired of this fucking bear. So he sends Rip Hunter, of DC Comics fame, pictured here, yeah, that guy, to go and deal with the bear.
Is Rip Hunter Batman?
No, Batman is Casey, who is his actual son. This is Kevin Costner's son. This is the guy who wants to be his son. Rip Hunter wants to be his son, and also is boning her. So, like, that's how that works. So he's like, get rid of this fucking bear. So him and the Cowboys try to deal with the bears, and there's some shenanigans. It's one of the more entertaining parts of the episode. And then finally, he's hunting for the bear. He's looking for the bear, and he saw the bear nearby, and he's got his rifle out, and he's looking for the bear. And then all of a sudden he hears some shouting, and he goes up on the side of this cliff, and there are these two Asian tourists that are just hanging off the side of a cliff. Like desperately, oh my god, we're hanging off the cliff! And there's no setup for this. And so it's like, oh, he passed the random encounter torch to Rip. So now he gets the random encounter. So there's no build-up. We don't know who these fuckers are, other than that there were Asian tourists earlier in the episode. And apparently these two fuckers somehow got on a fucking cliff and are off it. There's no getting to know them or like them snooping around and falling. No, they're just there. Like while he's trying to look for the bear, and it's just like, okay, guys, he's looking for a bear. You don't need Asian tourists to emphasize the drama. There's already a fucking bear. So then he's trying to save them, and he rows down a rope, and he ties the rope down, and he tries to hit the lady, but the guy panics, and the guy winds up knocking the lady off, and she falls and dies, and then he's all upset that he got his girlfriend killed, so then he just drops, and they both kill themselves, and it didn't matter at all, and then the bear shows up, and he shoots the bear. The worst part is that this didn't just remind me as a random encounter. This was so pointless. It was so pointless it added nothing. I can tell that the only way it's going to add is it's going to be kind of like it might add to something later if they want to. Two people died on his property, I guess. So that'll be a thing. It's like he was trying to get help for that. It's like, two people are dead. What do I? He couldn't find anybody to get help on it later on the episode. But like, this didn't matter. This is like, we could have just resolved the bear. You didn't need to, it was like pointless. And not only does it remind me of a random encounter, it reminds me of one of Lord Cat's role-playing game random encounters. It reminds me of Walewa. Which, again, for those who don't know, and the reason I do D&D games online is because of Lord Cat and Spoonie's old role-playing games. I am inspired by Matthew Mercer and Critical Role, but it's like, Lord Cat was doing it way before Matthew Mercer ever did. And his Walewa game is basically his murder hobo game. He had his friend Adam, who knows 3.5 really well, and they just ran around and just killed shit, and were basically villains. It feels like a random encounter in something that they would do, where it was just like, help, please help us, and Theron's like, I don't feel like helping this person right now. It's like, well, but I have this gem that can help you. Okay, I dominate the person to give me the gem, and he gives him the gem. It's like, okay, I break his arm. Okay, he falls and dies. It felt like that. It felt like just Looney Tunes.
Okay.
And then the rest of the episode is dealing with drama and the fact that Monica has brain damage, and he has cancer and he's vomiting and he doesn't want to die yet, and things that, again, there are people I love who have cancer in their lives, and so I should give a shit, but I just don't. And the rest of the episode's just really boring, and I'm actually disappointed that there was no crazy shootout involving dinosaur bones or other crazy shit. And I'm a little disappointed. I feel like leaving me a little empty here, Yellowstone. I mean, I know you can do crazier bullshit than this. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. But I would like to point out that some of the drama stuff in this episode, I liked the stuff with Beth. I liked the stuff with Walker. I liked the scene with him in the beginning. But yeah. Kind of boring towards the ends. And, and shut up, Josh, because Kevin Costner's a saint. He's a saint, and you will leave him alone. You will be nice.
That's the problem. I'm listening to this recap of these episodes, and all I'm thinking is, this sounds so boring. They need these random encounters to keep it interesting. It's just the boringest, laziest plot I've ever fucking heard.
And they skipped out on the random encounters in this episode, but just made them weirder. But there's few of them, so it's just like, I'm sorry, it's not the same. It's not the same as the fight at the school or the it's just or the drone. I mean, you can do better, Yellowstone. You can do weirder. You can do stupider. I'm just saying.
I'm not watching this show, but you know what I predict?
What?
I predict that you go further on your journey, your Yellowstone journey. That it's gonna try to be more of an actual real-world drama and less random encounters, less ridiculous, stupid shit. And what's gonna happen is it's going to embody a Kevin Costner performance, and he's soulless and boring, and that's when he wins. Kevin goes, "This was all part of my plan. You see, I have tricked you into thinking that I am amazing, and you are left a fool."
That was so quiet, I didn't hear anything. But I think that's what you were going for.
You can barely hear Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
That's all I hear. Whenever he speaks, I just hear a cow chewing cud. Going, that's it. That's all I hear.
Remember in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, when he covered himself with manure and pretend to be a beggar? Those were good times.
Anyway, this has been fun.
That's how we're gonna leave you, folks. We're nostalgic for Robin Hood Men Prince of Thieves, the best film. What are we talking about next week, Josh?
I'm probably gonna have to figure out what, because at the rate you're going, it doesn't look like you're gonna catch up on Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's only 2 episodes left so far, as of the release of this recording. Let me see. I don't know. I'll look into something. I'll find something. I could probably talk about the movie that you wanted me to talk about, but I don't have the time.
What movie was that, Josh?
Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
I honestly just discovered like a couple days ago.
Okay. Guns Akimbo. Maybe I can get off my ass and watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we'll be good to go there, and we'll be set for that. And I would say tune in for the D&D game that's going to come after this, but at the rate I'm going for that, it's going to be 6 months before that's uploaded anyway. So I have too much to go through. I still haven't uploaded all of City of the Spider Queen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all right. I'm going to get in there and play D&D with these guys. Thank you for joining us, folks. Come back, join us next week. We'll catch you all later. All right. See you later, dude. Love you, man. I'm heading out of here.
Have a good night.
All right, good night. Okay, and where...